That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Fun Day, Fun Day, Fun Day Friday. Let me get the jam. All right. That's some stuff on. All right. Good morning, everyone. Hi. Hi, everybody. Oh, sorry, I was not here yesterday, everybody. Oh man, this is by far, I think, the weirdest cold I've had, where I'll like feel really good, and then I'll feel shit, and then I'll feel really good, and then I'll feel shit. So I think I'm good. I think hopefully this is not another lull. But hopefully you don't look like you have a cold. Yeah, I was taking my time. I'm still lagging, okay? But I am feeling much better so far for now. Hopefully it stays like that. I think I sound a lot less sick as well. I'm feeling that too for the past 2 days you did this to me. Sorry. It was all the coughing and sneezing I did on stream. I spread the sickness. I got the same thing. It has me fucked up, makes me sad. No, I'm sorry. I had tickets for Fear and Live tonight and I can't go. No. Well, I feel like I'm feeling better. While I was sick and I could barely do anything, I decided to get really into Palworld. And guys, did you guys know that game is fun? That game is great. Wow, they did a great job. Why'd you say gross? It slaps. Pokemon with guns? I feel like it's less Pokemon with guns and more Pokemon but Valheim. So I've been having a good amount of time. I like when I get to melt the pals. That's my favorite thing to do. I like when I get to melt them. What? When you condensate them? Yeah. I love condensating them. So anyways, you guys should play that game if you haven't played it already. That game is so good. It's also really funny that Nintendo sued them and they were like, you can't just have a game where you get monsters and you put them in spherical containers. You can't do that. And Japan's patent office was like, you guys can't patent monsters that you capture. You can't patent that. Huh? What? Huh? Palworld is the slave game? What does that mean? Oh, like you enslave the pals. You enslave them. I feel like it's less. I almost feel like having played Palworld, I feel like it's less enslavement than Pokemon is. Because in Pokemon, the trainers don't even fight. It's just the fucking I almost said pals. It's just the Pokemon getting fucking beat up. In Palworld, your shit is getting fucked up, dude. They're trying to get your ass, dude. Okay, the pals are just in the way. So, sometimes you can enslave people. Oh, I did that on Palpagos Island. Enslaving humans is considered inhumane. I mean, using pal spheres on humans is considered inhumane. Yeah, I know it's inhumane. I put the humans in the spheres. Inhuman. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. And then you sell them, Smile. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In Palworld, the player provides jobs to all of the Palkimons Denims. Yeah, and if you think about it, you know, I'm sheltering them. I'm giving them a roof over their head, all right? They don't have to worry about food. So just think about it. Feudalism is awesome. Are they allowed to form a union? What are you, crazy? No. No, I need to have my fucking dragon pal banging its head against the tree so I can get more firewood. Okay? I'm a job creator. Anyways, it's pretty fun. Giving them CTE. I didn't tell them how to cut down the tree. All right? It's not my fault the alpha dragon or alphadron decided it was going to bang its head against the fucking tree to take the tree down. Okay? Maybe it should consider having longer arms and less of a fat body so it can actually reach the tree and hold an axe. Did it consider that? It's not my fault. Like, that's skill issue on its part. Anyways, no, that game is actually a lot of fun. There's a lot of heart and soul in a game, and I'm glad that I'm getting a chance to play it. And I'm glad that they won or are winning their lawsuit. So, base tour, maybe. Favorite pal? I really like Anubis. I like that. And I like Tiva. They're goated. But enough of this. Yormantide? Oh, sorry, you mean Gyarados. That one is such a straight rip, dude. That one is such a straight rip. But a lot of them are really original. But anyways, Espresso is my guy. Oh. Okay. Now, it is kind of funny that Palworld was like, okay, well, what if we made Pokemon, but it was like a base building game, and it was more than just like you catch some Pokemon and then you fight trainers, and that's all you do all game. And then Pokemon was like, you can't just do that. You can't do that. What the fuck do you think? Who do you think you are? Excuse you. You know, we can do it. And then people were actually interested. And they're like, wait, guys, we can make a base building game. Okay, we can do that. We can make one. Please. Look, we released Pacopia. But anyways, did you watch any of Littleberry yesterday? No, dude. I just told you. I've been palling, man. I've been palling with my pals. No, I saw that there was some stuff happening yesterday, but I just did not. I didn't have the strength to watch any of it unfold or re-unfold. I've already talked about what I wanted to talk about, but that is neither here nor there, okay? Because we have a lot of stuff to get to today. First and foremost, all right? Did you guys see Elon Musk bragging about his tits? I wish I could say that that was clickbait, but I had to see it, so now you guys have to see it. Sorry. Yeah, birds? No, like his breasts, like his chest. Let's go. On the topic, really quickly, one sec, of Larkin and DSA candidates. I think it's so important that we constantly have people shattering the idea that blue candidates, or more importantly, progressive candidates / DSA candidates, we start shattering the idea that these candidates can't win. Let me pull it up. Where is it? Hold up. Oh man, it's like right here. Mm. What? Damn you, New York Times. Where is it? Zohran is now summoning the otters. Wait, we're gonna get to that in a second. Okay. Hold up. Okay, I can't find the exact link that I was looking at before, but that's okay. I'll pull it up in a second when I can eventually find it. TLDR is that the more likely or the more that we push that these candidates can win and we show what these candidates can do, the more people will want these candidates. I think the last time I saw, there was polling that showed that people favor DSA or like socialist candidates and progressive candidates and DSA endorsed candidates more than they favor Republicans and Democrats. Why? And it's because why? It's because of people like Mamdani, but especially Mamdani, seemingly making every single problem in New York go away, or at least trying to communicate when he needs more time to fix an issue. An otter has been spotted in the Bronx River for the first time in more than 100 years. Experts say it's an encouraging sign that New York's previously befouled waterways are recovering some of their ecological health. Like, I saw this video and I needed to show it to you guys. I think you guys will like this. Talking to your friends that live in New York.
You did not see Spider-Man in Central Park wearing Tims.
Of course not, but y'all believe anything when you're not from here.
Whatever.
Hold up a second, I'm gonna order real quick.
Right.
Yo, can I get a bacon, egg, and cheese? Nah, man, all of our systems are down. Oh, that's cool. I'll just call Mom Donnie. He'll come fix it.
That's not how Mom Donnie works.
Did somebody say New York? Mom Donnie! How you doing, man? Another day making the city safer for New Yorkers. Problem should be fixed now.
Did he just fix an electrical issue by himself?
Nah, man, it was a couple of our highly intelligent public service workers. Now, who wants to drink from the new water fountains at the new soccer field?
Me! I got water in my house.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I said I got water in my house.
Oh, yeah, we got that too, and all the new stuff, and the mayor, and the Knicks.
Hey, I'm gonna let you go, man. You breaking up.
Oh, the Wi-Fi from our fast and free bus
I'm gonna let you go. You breaking up.
must be breaking up. I'll call Mom Donnie real
No,
quick.
don't call Mom Donnie.
Did somebody say New York?
Mom Donnie!
Sorry for the inconvenience. To make it up to you, here's some ice cream and a free puppy.
Yeah!
Hold on, sorry. He's talking this girl through a breakup real quick.
Why is he doing that? That's not his job.
Well, really, he inspired us to come together as a community and embrace her with the heart of the city. This is why I love living in New York. Did somebody say New York?
Mom Donnie! Hang up on me, bro.
And tomorrow I'm gonna get those potholes fixed.
Right.
I want to move to New York so bad, dude. I want to move back so bad. But I think a big part of it is like how good his team is at putting together easy to understand, bite-sized videos and messages that anyone, regardless of your level of political knowledge, can understand. Can I get the link? Of course. Like, let me see if I can find it. Sorry, this is so funny to me. The New York Post trying to smear Mamdani. Manhattan rents reach all-time high of $6,600 a month amid Mamdani's rent freeze and Pied-a-Terre tax threat. And? If you're renting in Manhattan, what are you expecting? Huh? You're renting in Manhattan. Hello? Okay. Yeah, that's what rent looks like in Manhattan. What? I thought it would be higher, honestly. Yeah. The other thing too is the rent has been going up the whole time. It's the same idea behind like, we can't raise minimum wage because then the cost of everything is going to go up. And we haven't raised minimum wage and the cost of everything is still going up. Okay. But like the fact that Mamdani's team puts together and helps put together stuff like this is just like one example of many things that he's put. Honestly, his YouTube page probably has like all of the shorts that they've worked on. And that you as like an average New Yorker are just like scrolling through like Instagram or YouTube shorts or whatever. And you just see this stuff and you're like, oh, dude, I'm glad to know that my mayor is like really working hard and he's really trying his best to like, you know, deliver on these promises. Maybe it's more so on Twitter than it is anything else. Let's pull it up. Let's go here.
I wanted to come and
This was released after he had announced the rent freeze.
bring everybody a happy rent freeze cake. I know it's not yet 9 o'clock. It might be a little early for cake.
We don't care. Happy rent freeze.
Happy rent freeze.
Really, you don't know what that means.
Yes, that's right. So all of
Especially
us.
when you're on a fixed ticket. So you know I was getting out of bed to see you this morning.
Anyone who would like a slice? I am so glad to celebrate this morning with all of you because at the heart of this are tenants. And you all have helped to build this city. You've given stability to this city. It's time the city brings some stability to you. And we're so excited that the Rent Guidelines Board decided to freeze the rent not just for 1 year, but for the first time in New York City history for 2 years.
What people are
Like the fact that he is capable of putting out messaging that will actually reach people and that they can understand what are the policies that he is pushing versus the usual politics or like the usual politicians that spend all of their effort campaigning and then once they're in office, they don't give a shit. Once they're in office, it's like, okay, leave me alone. I'm doing my job. Just trust that I'm doing it right. We don't even know anything about politics. Why are you bothering me? Go do whatever the fuck it is that you people do. Whatever you poors do. But that he has continued to maintain this presence. Or like compare this, for example, to like when Gavin Newsom was caught hosting something without like and there were no masks at his like dinner party or whatever the fuck he held. Like on a personal level, I just don't care. I don't give a fuck that the governor or whatever is hanging out with his buddies without a mask. I care whether or not they're initiating good policy. But the fact that he handled that in like a horrible way comparatively to like something as small as this. It's a video of like Mamdani looking at his phone and it's a bunch of people tagging him saying, "Where's your helmet? You need to be wearing a helmet," because there are photos of him not wearing a helmet on his bike.
You're right. I've got to do better. Safety first, New York. See you out there.
Like that he sees like this, like they didn't need to make this video. They didn't need to do this. His team didn't need to do this. But the fact that he clearly has people that he pays in his, staff that make sure that everyone's concerns are heard, even something as small as, "What are you doing? Wear a helmet. We can't lose you. We can't lose you like this." It's so cool, dude. Makes me want to cry. I know, like it's like, oh, you're gonna listen to the people of your city, even when it's super unimportant stuff or it's super small stuff. But also when it's like stuff that people complain about all the time. So, for example, Chambers Street, This station is like actually disgusting. Dude, every time I was at Chambers Street, I was like, get me out, dude. It was like backroom shit, man. And he talks about it. He says, as NYPC PA Juman Williams said yesterday, the original Jay-Z isn't doing so well. That's why we're working with Kathy Hochul using congestion pricing funds to renovate Chambers Street and partnering with the MTA to tackle extreme heat in our subway stations. Brooklyn Bridge City Hall hit an average of 96 degrees last summer. We're exploring a first of its kind system that could cool subway platforms in the summer and use that heat to warm city buildings in the winter, a better commute in every season.
Next stop, a new Chambers Street subway station.
And congestion pricing is paying for it. Chambers Street Station is over 100 years old. This restoration will rebuild crumbling stairwells.
Like, literally look at Chambers Street.
Build crumbling stairwells and broken doors. Fixes to the ceiling.
I've told people there are some of the old subway stations literally have like stalactites and stalagmites. I think those are the words for those things. It's bad. It's bad. Okay. Some of the stations in New York are like relatively newish or they're better maintained. So, like Hudson Yard. This one is relatively new and it looks nice. This is the outside of the station. Okay. Sorry that this photo is like blurry. Hold. There was a different photo I was going to show. Why is it like 4 pixels big? They don't have photos of this station that aren't 4 pixels big. And then here's what it looks like when you're descending or ascending. Like, it's actually a really nice station and it's pretty well maintained. And obviously everybody in here knows the better you maintain something, the less you need to do extreme repairs. And even the station itself, like, because it's so new and because it's actually been decently maintained compared to some of the other stations, it's not quite, but it's approaching how some of China's stations look. Okay? Like, this is a pretty nice train station, I would say. I would say decent train station. Looks nice on the outside, looks nice on the inside, pretty well maintained. So there are some stations that look like this in New York that are like, oh wow, look, there's a lot of love that went into this station and you guys actually care about maintaining this station. Wow. And then there are some stations that are like, is that a hole in the ceiling? Dude, what do you mean all of the metal is rusting and you can see stalactites? And no one cares.
Into the underlying issues that cause.
And it's not that the city can't make nice stations. It's not like, no, they have secret technology in other countries that we just don't have here in New York. We just can't do it. It just can't be reproduced here in New York. It's like, yes, it can. Look. Yes, it can. What do you mean? And in New York, because there are so many subway lines and because the public transportation is so robust, they can afford to take certain lines out of commission for a couple months to even a couple years while they work on it. Yeah, it does inconvenience everybody else. And I had times where there were lines that were being worked on and I had to fucking take like 5 bus commutes instead, which was not fun because it was just like an additional 10, 15, 20 minutes to my commute. And I would rather be on the train than be on a bus. But they will reroute the bus lines or they'll reroute the train lines so that you can still get to your destination within a reasonable amount of time. So it's not like there's only one train line, so we can't afford to take it out of commission. You can afford to take one station out of commission. You can afford to do that. Like going into Kaled, when you go into that station, it's terrible. It's so, is that poop? No, it's rust. It's worse than that.
Cause regular leaks, and it will restore the ceramic tiles and marble bases that make this station so unique.
It's time for an upgrade.
Let me upgrade.
And every single, literally every other, like the past decade of mayors in New York have just not given a fuck. They're like, well, whatever. No one's going to care if I fix one station. Well, yeah, no one's going to care if you fix one station and you don't even talk about it and you don't talk about how you're going to fix it and why it should be fixed. So, like, super props to, did you ever take a moment to be outraged at him speaking Chinese? Yeah. But that he has such a great media team and that his staff really work hard to make all of this stuff digestible for the average New Yorker who, like, doesn't necessarily know anything about, like, why things aren't working. And that he tries to reach everybody and that he tries to explain to everybody, hey, this is why this isn't working. We're going to do the best we can. I don't know how long it'll take, but you guys have complained about this and you want this fixed, so it shall be fixed. Also that he followed up the helmet stint or stunt with this. Get a free helmet and expert fitting at Summer Streets in the Bronx on Saturday from 9 to 5. Come see us near Poe Park. That he used it as an opportunity to give out a bunch of free helmets. It's like, dude. Oh, why would you spend your money on a train station when you can give it to police so that they have drones that can roam the schools? Oh. I didn't think of that. I'm sorry. I'm just like a buffoon. I did not consider that for a moment, that we should have instead given it to the police so they can have their murder drones. Fuck. God damn it. I'm sorry. All right. I apologize. So when a candidate is running the way that, like, Angie Nixon is running, and Fox News' best coverage, their best smear attack against her is Angie Nixon's platform, Medicare for all, free child care, free paid family and sick leave, national rent freeze, universal jobs program, taxing the rich. It's like, what am I supposed to Huh? Like, I don't even think Republicans are so stupid that they would see this and think that this was bad. They might be like, well, I don't know how to feel about Medicare for all or abolishing ICE, but yeah, I would want free paid family leave and sick leave. Yeah, I'd want a national rent freeze. Rent is too damn high. Like, yes, they are. Sorry, let me correct my statement. I don't think that every single Republican is so stupid that they would see this and think, no, this has got to be all bad. At some point, something has to break. All right? And at some point, even the dumbest Republicans are like, wait, but I'm down to, like, try it, man. Like, because I kind of, like, am tired of not being able to, like, afford anything. I'm kind of, like, not. I kind of want to, like, actually be able to buy stuff again. I think, like, 1 in 10 of them will see through it enough to vote for her. I mean, I think it's just that more so people just, like, don't want the same old that hasn't gotten them anything. They use the word free because it signals who's going to pay for it, but they don't. I don't want to pay for welfare queens. Yeah, but the problem is when everyone is on, like, the bottom rung of society, when the majority of people in the United States can't afford, like, a $400 emergency, free starts to sound a lot better. That there's only so much shaming you can do before people are like, dude, fuck it, I want free. Also, for for some of the people being like, you're being too hopeful about Republicans. You're being too hopeful. How many people need to say that they voted for Trump and Mamdani for you to understand that a good candidate is a good candidate? That you can reach complete dumbfucks that vote against their interest with a good enough candidate and good enough policy. Like, it's just not like, it's just reality. It's just reality. No, I think improving subways is a great use for New York City taxpayer money, but shouldn't it be the subway in Tel Aviv? Will she open the borders? God, I hope so. God, I hope so. All right. And I wanted to talk about this as well.
Here is a clip from CNN where you have New York Post columnist Lydia Moynihan. She's the financial correspondent for the New York Post. So she's super excited.
Just the funniest credit anybody has. I was saying, yeah, I'm the Supreme Court correspondent for Sports Illustrated.
But columnist for New York Post and a financial correspondent put together. Take a guess how she's reacting to Zohran Mamdani's mayoralty.
69% approval rating.
Right now at Mayor Mamdani, who is the most famous Democratic socialist, his approval rating is going up, which is unprecedented. I mean, if you look here, 45% in June, now 47%. New York City, 58%, now 69% in New York City. He is trying to show that democratic socialism is actually something that can work. How do you explain that?
Look, it's a good question. I think he was a very skilled marketer, which is why he got into the mayoral office in the first place, and he's continuing to do that. He's very good at the photo ops. But if you look...
Isn't it funny that they refuse to establish or like acknowledge the fact that his polling shows positive sentiment because he's delivering? And when he hasn't been able to deliver, he speaks openly and honestly with New Yorkers. It's like, hey, we are not going to be able to do a flat out taxing of the rich. However, working with Kathy Hochul, we can push for a Pied-a-Terre tax, which should raise revenue for the city and should help us eliminate the city's deficit. So, yeah, we can't do exactly what I want to do just yet. We can't arrest Netanyahu just yet. But we're doing our best with what we can. All right? It's like, wow, oh my God, you're telling me that people want a candidate that actually talks to them like a human being? It isn't just speaking in platitudes? Wow, shocking.
Look at the numbers. Those are telling...
But Denims delivery is when the guy I call brings me pizzas. Politicians aren't supposed to deliver unless you mean delivering missiles to Israel. Oh, that's true.
A completely different story. Rents are at a new all-time high. So I think
Can you pause it?
The data and the reality of the policies he's...
Okay. So this is all they have now is charisma and social media. That's all they have. We made this point yesterday talking about his approval rating, which, by the way, since June and going up like that, the media did this dunk fest on him because his legal team determined that they couldn't feasibly make it stand to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu in New York City. And the media was like, he stumbled. This was something he said he was going to do. And unlike pretty much everything else he did, he failed. And isn't that embarrassing? And there was a rush to say how horrible his leadership is. Turns out voters maybe saw that, including the cost of living stuff, and said, I like someone who might actually try to arrest this man who's actively committing a genocide and believes in humanity and the rule of law. His approval rating went up after that, and you would never know that given the media coverage of it. And all they can do is talk about his charisma. Obama was some...
It's almost like the policy matters, and people want good policy. I know, shocking.
Somebody who is and remains one of the most charismatic politicians of our lifetime. When did his approval rating dip below 50% and stay there for the rest of his presidency? Almost the entire time. Charisma doesn't matter if you're not delivering on your promises.
Yeah, and we should say too, there was in the implementation of the Pied-a-Terre tax, a couple of people end up on the wrong list. They obviously were able to fix it. There is a sense amongst like the commentariat that people, average New Yorkers, feel like just they're outraged at the Pied-a-Terre tax. And I got news for you. They're not. They either love it or don't care. Because it doesn't impact virtually anyone in the city. Like the idea you're talking about, like several thousand people get on this list for the Pied-a-Terre tax. There are millions of people in this city who do not have an apartment that's just here for a couple of weekends or are flying to Florida to make sure that they have 165 tax days in Florida so they can avoid taxes or whatever it is, 185. There is such a desperation amongst these people to go after Mamdani, and they cannot figure out how. The guy has not only provided material benefits for people, you got now over 25,000, I think, kids right now getting free childcare. He is going to expand it. We see the work on the buses. The buses are getting faster in some areas, and we see the pilot program for the grocery stores. And more than that, he is going out there, and he is a great communicator. But you look at the notion of what he's communicating. He's communicating that we're all citizens of this city, and we're all invested in how government works. And this is an anathema to them because they don't like government. And so anybody who's building confidence in the institution of government, in the idea of government, is a threat to them. Keep playing this.
Completely different story. Rents are at a new all-time high. So I think eventually the data and the reality of the policies he's implementing are going to catch up with him.
I do think, though, that there are New Yorkers who are happy with him, not because he's a member of the Democratic Socialist Party. They're happy with him because he was talking about affordability and addressing their top priorities. They're happy with him because he's following through on campaign promises. You look at filling potholes or fixing drinking fountains. These are things that New Yorkers care about.
He fixed one drinking fountain, and it's because somebody tagged him on Instagram to do that. A functioning government doesn't need somebody to be tagged on Instagram to fix something.
I talked to a lot of young.
I completely disagree. I think being able to directly reach your politician is a good thing, actually. And I think people are fucking tired of not being able to reach their politician, and that their problems never get heard. No matter how small the problem is, if it is a problem that the city should be fixing, you should be able to reach out to your local representative, your local social servant, and they should be fixing it. Public servant, civil servant. She's so mad about it. Like, it's for no reason.
Democrats and young progressives, and they all say the exact same thing. They say that they're dissatisfied with the leadership of the Democratic Party because the grievances that underpinned those tweets and statements in 2020 have not been addressed by Democratic leaders 6 years later. And those grievances were real, and people forget that we had on the left the biggest protest movement of the century in 2020, and it was based on real grievances, and none of those have been addressed. So people who speak to those grievances will win inside the Democratic Party, and people who show results of those grievances.
It's also generational, and we're seeing
it is generational.
We're seeing a lot of that as well, but we're seeing it across party.
All right,
and
everybody.
And that's going to matter in 2028, and Democrats ignore it to their peril.
All right, everybody stand by.
That's the safety.
That's crazy that's CNN, by the way. Any other politician, you'd have to go to city government meetings and yell at them for years, and it still doesn't work most of the time.
Valve. You know how, like, on the Titanic, right? There were different layers on the ship that had protective measures once they hit the iceberg, and then those failed. The generational thing is the next one that they're going to. That's in part true. Like, in part, yes, Zohran Mamdani's talent as a communicator is in part of why he's so popular, and age is part of the issue, but it's not the whole issue. It's ideology, and not everything you soulless ghouls, is a comms issue. I mean, there were two people there that addressed it actually well. I don't know their names, but like, they're saying that these are legitimate grievances and not just a matter of marketing, which is seemingly the only way that these people can conceive of politics.
And I also say, like, the generational thing is that you have people.
It's funny watching them try and convince people that, like, your politician listening to your problems, no matter how small that problem is bad, actually.
People under the age of 40, really, or maybe 45 even.
Tell me about it. Our city council is still unsure if they should end the damn flock contract. They've already dumped $7.5 million to these dickheads. Yeah, but did you consider that $7.5 million they spent on those flock cameras was very important for them to spend? And yes, they could have invested that in, like, more trees to provide shade, or more bikeways, or buses, or fixing the potholes, or any number of things. But the thing is, if they did that, how would they be able to spy on everyone? You consider that?
Who are no longer need.
Oh, and then the trees would impede the flock camera visibility. Fuck, exactly. So no more trees.
Jerk frightened off by.
By the way, chat, let me just say, this is like the #1 issue that pisses me off, infrastructure-wise, more than anything else. I'm not gonna lie, I would rather live in a Carcel world that was filled with trees than a train bike haven with no trees. That, I know it's a controversial opinion, I know. But what's the point of being at a destination that fucking sucks because there's no fucking shade? Why not both? Well, I'm just explaining how much I care about trees. Obviously, you can have both, duh. It's just like, it's diabolical. It's actually like, literally, it's diabolical. I can't. It's, I was out the other day, like a week or two ago. I forget where I was at in LA, but it was like the main street had no trees, no shades. And it was like, water, I need water. And then I made a right into like a residential area that had nothing but trees, and it was 10 degrees cooler. And there was no sun in my eyes. And I was like, why? 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 Why is this? Why can't we have this on every street? Why? It makes me so fucking mad, dude.
The label socialist. In fact, it's the opposite. I mean, there may be people who knee-jerk react to actually support as opposed to get frightened off. And so and there's no longer, like, you know, this cohort, I think even more broadly, are upset at the Democrats for not doing enough, whether older or younger. But the bottom line is, if it's generational, it's very easy to see where the trend is going.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I mean, the trend is going so well that, like, other mayors are having to do what Mamdani does. Spot a pothole on your street, send it our way. Report it to 311 through My LA 311 app or lacity.gov My LA 311. Asking LA's mayor to Mamdani a pothole. That's what we're calling doing your job now. Mamdaniing. We're calling doing your fucking job Mamdaniing.
Hey, Mayor Bass. I found this pothole here on Melrose and Gardner Street. Hoping you could just send some folks down here to just remedy that for us.
Hi, Simone. I saw your post, so I want you to know that city crews were out here today at noon. But unfortunately, there was a car that was here, so we couldn't repair the pothole. So you know what we did? We put up these no parking signs so that hopefully there won't be anybody parked here tomorrow morning, and the city crews will be back in the future if you have any problems.
So we did nothing. We put up a fucking sign that cost $5. I have no words. I have, like, no words.
like this, you can call 311 if it's graffiti, if it's a pothole, or if it's just random trash. So thank you, Simone. Thank you for being a great LA citizen. We're going to get this done.
Hey, Mayor.
That's amazing. Hey, is this a joke? This isn't the official official account for the 43rd mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass. Zohran would have lifted the car so the city workers could reach the pothole, by the way. Are you fucking stupid? Girl, you didn't even fix the pothole. Why in the world wouldn't you just wait till it's actually fixed to post it? What I don't understand is, I thought the video was going to be, I was like, I'm hopeful, okay? You guys don't understand how hopeful I am. I was like, oh, she's going to say, we came here and there was a car in the way, but everybody knows this problem. We put up a sign. Next day, as soon as we had the opportunity, we came by, no one was parked, and we fixed that bad boy. I also like that, when she shows how the city fixes potholes, it's like the ugliest repair job you've ever seen in your fucking life. That still sucks to drive over, by the way. Like this shit. These still suck to drive over, by the way, if you were curious. It's like, I could have fixed it that way, dude. I could. I am late for the stream. Have you watched the new ContraPoints videos on liberalism in Palestine? No, I don't want to watch that, dude. Why would you ask me that? Stop, dude. Hi, unfortunately you asked me to do my job and I needed to let you know. I don't give a fuck. Thank you. Vote for me again. Also, I need to stop a little bit of misinformation really quickly. Really fast. Just really quickly. I saw some tree haters in chat. Okay? I saw some anti-tree propaganda in chat that was like, well, we can't have trees in LA because of fires. I will have you know, all right? There are lots of trees that are native to LA, that have been native to LA the whole time, that are drought resistant, that don't produce excessive oils, that make them extra flammable. And those are the trees we should be planting. Planting native trees is the play. What if the native trees are ugly? I mean, I don't think this California sycamore, this is just like a normal tree. I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty big tree person. It's just a normal tree. This looks like a good tree to me. Looks good to me. Tolerates heat, smog, and drought conditions as well as moist conditions. It's native to riparian areas. It has an interesting mottled bark when the tree is bare in winter. Looks good to me. Also, no such thing as an ugly tree. See, you're a real tree lover. Okay, dude. Amen. Tree enjoyers, fucking stand up right now. Okay? Stand up. So there are lots of trees that are native to LA that we could grow. That are, obviously you can't be a tree and be fire resistant. But there are some trees that are extra flammable. Super flammable. So yes, I agree. No more eucalyptus trees in LA. They don't belong there. But why can't we plant the ones that are native to LA that can work in droughts and in dry climates? Why? Why can't we do that? I just don't understand why we have to suffer. Why? Why do I have to walk in the fucking brutal heat? Chinese tallow are ugly and they're the bane of my existence. What? This tree looks fine. I feel like this tree looks fine. What? The suffering will continue until the fires improve. I don't know, man. I feel like I like trees though. I like trees. Some trees have pollen. Just fucking handle it, okay? I will have you know, I would gladly take on every human being's allergies to enjoy the shade of trees. I don't mind sneezing every 5 seconds if it means I'm in some shade. I would trade that. All right? I would gladly trade that. So you just fucking handle it, dude. All right? Handle it. Please. I'm invested in tree stock. Like, look at this depressing ass fucking street. Look at this average depressing ass LA street. Look at the tree that they got fucking planted. What type of shade is this providing? Look at this concrete hell. Look at this. Look. This is so depressing. Christ. All right, sorry. That's my one. That's like my biggest infrastructure soapbox that I have.
That clip is from yesterday. Well, today, if it's a generational divide, guess who lost just a tiny bit of ground in that one day?
Yeah.
And it's just every day that goes by, that younger cohort, when they start to get to be 50, and I get.
Have you seen this guy's videos about trees? Wait. Spiritually depraved and misery-inducing landscapes of North America, episode 1. Crime pays, but botany doesn't.
Hi, this is Tony.
I almost entered a state of unbelievable rage simply looking at this street. May I immediately note, why are the trees so far from the sidewalk? What is the... Okay, I understand trees need to grow. So, you can't just plant a fully grown tree. It's probably more reasonable to plant a bunch of trees and, maintain them over time. Why are they so far away from the side? Who is going to benefit from these fucking trees? The point of the trees is to provide shade for the people walking around.
On today's episode of soul-crushing and spiritually depressing landscapes of North America, we got a real banger coming at you straight out of far Texas. Let's go check it out. Already getting started with this extensive spread of St. Augustine grass, which requires a lot of moisture to stay alive when it's summer 11 months out of the year. Great way to piss away your slowly declining water reserves. Reservoirs are already going dry.
This is another hot take, not hot at all. I don't want grass. I don't need grass. Grass is not beneficial for me. As a certified walker, I don't need more fucking grass. Just put the fucking tree in the fucking box and put some fucking soil. I don't need grass, dude. I just want the tree to give me some fucking shade. Put the fucking soil in the goddamn fucking bag, and the rest of it can be concrete.
Region. Look at what's happening to Corpus Christi. Great way to piss this away on a crop you're not going to eat and otherwise not going to use, and most people aren't going to pay attention to because they're going to be driving by it at 30 miles per hour. But the sense of desperation and wanting to give up doesn't stop there. Let's look at some of these dying trees they put in. Now, these are non-native oaks. They're native to a few 100 miles east of here. Probably gets twice the annual rainfall that we get here. We only get 20 inches. And so they're slowly dying due to the heat, all right? It also doesn't get as hot where these grow natively as it does here. So, but that's not a problem to worry about. You're just gonna wrap the tree well, which is lined with plastic, by the way. Wrap the tree well in a few, just do a few rounds of, half-inch irrigation drip on it, and don't worry about it. All right, good luck. It's not going to work. The leaves are very glossy. They don't have any pubescence whatsoever on the undersides. A lot of the native plants have evolved strategies to cope with the intense climate.
It's like if you took internet comment guy and you put him outside and made him feel the way that I feel about trees.
Down here, one of the most extreme climates in North America, and so a lot of the natives have evolved, a coating of tiny hairs on the leaves, which help mitigate the effects of sun, drying winds, and water stress, or they've got a thick layer of wax. This tree has neither. I expect it'll be dead in probably, I don't know, let's say 6 months to a year. We also have this wonderful expanse of black asphalt, which heats up to about 160 degrees Fahrenheit in the sun. Remember, it is summer for about 11 months out of the year here. Here it is mid-March. It's already 95 degrees. That's going to be cooking. You could probably, cook a plate of rice or some eggs on that come July. Now look at this tree. It's already on its way out. This is a wonderful example of it. This is either Quercus fusiforme or Quercus virginica. Now both are native to a few hundred miles north and east of here, where they get much more rain. Not enough rain down here. You can also see this thing is already half dead because it was ripped out of the ground with the tree spade at a tree farm. And when the tree spade ripped it out, it severed all the feeder roots, since most of the roots that do absorption on a tree are on the distal ends, not in the center. They're on the distal ends, where the root hairs are. And so when they ripped this out, they already kind of gave it a death sentence. And so it's going to be here and slowly die. Now you might be asking, why would they plant the tree that's going to slowly die? Well, this is actually a very popular model throughout much of the United States, because you can charge a lot more money for larger specimens, even though it makes more sense, from a physiological standpoint, for anybody who knows their botany, to plant small. When you plant the small 1 to 2 or 3 gallon max plant, it's going to get established quicker, okay? And it hasn't been tortured in a pot. The roots aren't going to be coiling around the bottom, and it hasn't been ripped out of the ground with a tree spade. Once you plant that smaller plant, it'll take way less time to get established. Then once it gets established, then it really starts taking off and it'll grow faster. I bet you could plant the 3 gallon oak next to this thing, and by the time this is fully dead, that 3 gallon oak will be that tall anyway. Probably like another year and a half, maybe 2 years. I don't know, who knows. Either way, wonderful job on making it look as depressing as humanly possible. This is terrible. I mean, I said, wow, how did they do that? Look, it's already dead, okay? Now, of course, it looks a lot better for a landscaping job, and surely the landscaper got paid probably a couple $100,000 to do this shit, which is a crime unto itself. But hey, we're pissing away a few $1 billion every day in Iran. Why the fuck?
I mean, I don't even blame the landscaper. Like, what are you gonna do if that's the job you were given? You were told, like, here's the budget. These are the trees we want. Do it. Like, what are you going to do? Your job is to show up and do what they asked for. Like, what are you going to do about it?
Fuck not. This is nothing. This is chump change to that. So, but you can see that it really does look terrible. And you see this common, throughout the United States. People don't understand that you plant smaller, the trees get established faster, they take off. They want, overnight results. They want the reveal. This gives you a good reveal, even though it's going to slowly decline until it eventually dies. Probably a year left on this thing. Let's move over to this bed. This is pretty terrible. Now, this shrub, which is certainly all the same clone, half of them are dead already, and they've got it hedged into...
The thing that pisses me the fuck off about this shit more than anything else is that there are so many cacti that look beautiful. Why don't we plant those? Sure as fuck looks better than this fucking sad, depressing brush. There are so many succulents and cacti that look gorgeous, that are great for dry areas and dry climates that don't require maintenance. Why the fuck don't we plant those? Spiky and dangerous? Okay, then what's the excuse for succulents? Google succulents native for Texas. Let me pull. So just really quickly, just a random Google search, just like one random Google search really fast. Here are some that are native to Texas. Any of these, by the way, would look 100 times better. And any of these, literally any of these, quite literally any of these, would look 100 times better than these depressing, fucking dried out plants.
like molars, it really looks terrible. You know, uniform lines, even spacing, they love that shit, these fucking landscapers. Now this hedge is wax myrtle. It's a morella species, which is actually native to the United States, right? But the southeastern United States, where you get much higher rainfall, maybe 40 to 60 inches, we get about half that here. So it's condemned to death as well. But they got irrigation watering this stuff, right? So it might be a prolonged death. It's going to take a little bit longer to die than if you just planted it without irrigation. I'll give them that. Now we got the dyed mulch, okay? Because regular wood chips wouldn't be enough. They have to dye it so it looks uniform. We've also got this bleak vinyl edging in here too, just like we saw in the tree well back there. Totally pointless, doesn't do anything. When a guy on his riding lawnmower comes and hits this thing, he'll shred that into a bunch of plastic bits, add microplastics into the ground, you know, out into the parking lot, wherever. That'll look really good. No one's going to pay attention to this, again, because no one's paying attention to you know, the landscaping in most human developments anyways. Really
I mean, I notice bad landscaping and I notice good landscaping. I will tell you guys, I notice that shit. But you know what I don't notice? I don't notice anything I can't see because it's so hot and the sun is so bright that I have to do this and squint so I don't go fucking blind. Why is there no shade?
Terrible. Despite the weed fabric that surely exists beneath these wood chips, one of the aggressive amaranthus species, spinach family, Amaranthaceae, was still able to pop up through it and do its thing. And honestly, I mean, it's a terrible weed, but it looks better than all this shit that they've planted here. Now let's look over here, because this is a nice contrast. Now you can see right there we have our native mesquite, Neltuma.
You know what's so depressing? All of the money that they spent on this ugly ass, dog shit ass fucking landscaping, all the money that they spent on like this shit ass grass that has to be maintained and these shit ass trees. They could have put this towards at least providing some shade in this parking lot to solar panels and it would have looked better. It would have looked better. I would rather it be a true concrete jungle that's functional than this fucking nasty ass shit.
You plant smaller, the trees get established faster, they take off. They want, you know, overnight results. They want the reveal. This gives you a good reveal, even though it's going to slowly decline.
So disgusting. Let's keep going.
And it's got no trouble at all growing in this heat. They look great throughout most of the year. It takes a lot to make a mesquite look like shit, okay? It takes a lot of drought, like prolonged drought. And so it would have made more
Mr. F, thank you for the 5 gift subs.
More sense just to leave that in a ground, you know, because surely there were more mesquites all throughout this bleak landscape before the bulldozers came in here. But again, it would have made too much sense, right? I mean, you can see that trees providing ample shade. It's covered in flowers, insect-pollinated flowers, so they're not going to cause allergies, because only wind-pollinated flowers cause allergies. Still have to explain that to some of the dummies in the room, but you can't fault them because we've all been alienated from nature in the first place and from plant life itself. Right? We think plant life's got to look like this hideous garbage, like this bullshit, and then we see stuff like that that's literally built via natural selection to thrive in this region. We see that and we say, oh, it's messy, we got to get rid of it and bulldoze it. Not too fucking bright, pretty.
And the craziest thing too is you could just maintain.
Are gone, people.
You could just maintain. All of the money spent on this stupid, ugly-ass lawn, and there's these fucking concrete floors and these fucking parking lots that are gonna fucking get destroyed. How about you just have some tree trimmers? Sorry, I'm gonna control myself. House of Rice, thank you so much for the 25 gifties! Thank you for making this depressing infrastructure video a little bit less depressing. House of Rice, thank you. I also happen to notice there is a treasure train, guys. All right. That means gift subs, 5 or more gift subs, are 35% off.
Fucking shit.
So you are literally losing money right now if you are not subbing. That's how that works. Don't check the math. I did it for you. Don't worry. Okay? Trust me. Okay, I went to school for accounting, so I am accounting. I am now legally your accountant, and I'm telling you, you are losing money by not subbing and not gift subbing. Mm-hmm. Girl math? No. No. This is real math. She's literally always right. Thank you. I'm a big numbers guy. Yeah, exactly.
They should be kissing Denims' feet.
Random Talking, thank you for the 10 gift subs. Washbear, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Do I get a submarine sandwich? Sure, whatever you want, eventually. This is legal advice. This is financial advice. Okay?
Depressing, but this is something I think about every day of my life, and you know, you just gotta get used to it. But look at that thing; it's thriving. I gotta love the mesquites, right? They send down roots super deep, edible food source from the fruits, those leguminous pods. You can eat the pulp around the bean, and happy as a pig and shit in full sun. Major habitat tree. That's what you call a keystone species. Okay, I'm talking too smart here. We gotta focus on the bleak. Let's get back to this. Now stepping across the road.
Oh my god, I'm just like getting depressed looking at this.
Feet.
This dreadful landscape. I'm just being filled with depression.
Here, let's take a look at this because they really did a good job on this shithole. So this is, you can see we still have the lawn pissing away precious water reserves. No lawn should look like that right now, okay? We have not gotten rain, significant rain in a few months. We're in a bad drought right now. So again, they're pissing away precious water reserves of the region. And you know, again, water reserves are
Big Boy Santos, thank you for the 5 gifts of Worst Bird. Thank you for the 10 gift subs. El Seguro, thank you so much for the 5 gifts of Mister. Thank you for the 2 months. Luke, thank you for the Prime. Flanking Fred, thank you so much for the 38 months. I gave all my investment money to Mayor Cat and he ghosted me. Help? Question mark? No. He's just building a portfolio for you. Don't worry.
declining all over South Texas. I had a friend who wanted to move here, but he got scared because he said there's no fucking water, and that's gonna cause a lot of problems, if not exorbitantly high costs, in the living costs for everybody in the state. And so, I mean, he's a very smart guy. He knew not to move here because the water issues are going to be bad. But anyway, whatever. Maybe they'll build a desalination plant, which is, you know, very energy intensive and costly. Whatever. It's pretty shit for brain too, but it's better than running out of water. But anyway, it's good to see that we are pissing away so much water to keep this useless crop looking green. That's the only reason they're doing it, just so it looks green. So, you know, when the phrases come by, to whatever this is, I don't even pay attention to what these buildings are, what businesses in them. They'll probably be gone in a year or two anyway. I know over there it was like a surgery center or something, or it's health offices. But either way, you know, people that are coming here aren't even paying attention to this. They might as well just spray paint it green. I mean, go for full bleakness. Don't half-ass it. Go big or go home. So we're keeping this turf grass alive, which is mostly Bermuda. At least makes a little more sense than using St. Augustine, because Bermuda's shit too, but it doesn't require as much water. Now let's look at this over here. Now this is what you call a tropical plant. What is the genus and species? We don't know. Doesn't matter. It's probably never going to flower anyway, and surely these are all the same clone. We've also got this wonderful rock mulch of cobbles that were no doubt trucked in from a few hundred miles away, and then 2 or 3 inches beneath that, we've got the plastic weed fabric to make sure that the soil stays biologically inactive and the roots don't break it up. You don't want any weeds growing here breaking up the nice visual array of lines and even spacing. And again, with this wonderful acrylic siding. Oh, this might actually be aluminum. Either way, it was surely brought over here in a shipping container from China, and might as well just be at the bottom of the ocean. It's got the same thing, just totally useless, no point. Now, stepping again over to the oaks, right? Now, we got a wonderful array of native mimosoid leguminous trees that thrive.
The fucking piece of fucking garbage hanging off the tree is so depressing. This fucking plastic bag, dude. You ever feel like a plastic bag?
And are exceptionally low maintenance and smell wonderful when they flower. Most of them are flowering right now. But again, that would make too much sense. So instead, what we've planted is one of these decrepit, I can't tell what this is. Is this an oak? I think it's an oak too. Yeah, it's an oak. It does look like shit. The bag is, you know, the jewel in the crown of depravity right there. Looks marvelous, 10 out of 10. That's a scene if there ever was one. I mean, there's a little bit too much greenery in the background. I can see trees over there. We need to get rid of those. Maybe put in some plastic signs, a billboard for a personal injury attorney, something else to really just lower the bar of intellect and culture so that we all...
It's missing a giant sign that says, like, Jesus saves.
feel like killing ourselves or just eating yourselves into a coma. I mean, that's what I see when I'm in this landscape. That's what I want to do. I want to start online gambling, doing oxycontins, maybe eating myself into a coma, anything to escape the reality and the bleakness of where I live. I'm gonna leave that bag there because this is a work of art at this point. Now you can see Louis enjoying the grass at least, and the bottom of it is dead again because these were dug out from a tree farm with a tree spade. Look, they didn't forget the cobbles in the tree wall too. That's nice. That looks great. See, they didn't stop there. They probably spent $10,000 on all of these hideous tropical shrubs that again lack hairs or intensive leaf wax. Actually, those leaves are a little waxy. It's still gonna need irrigation to prevent them from drying out though. Look at this tree. I said, wow, that is really something else. That thing's dead. Oh, it's a crepe myrtle too. Oh. Is it a crepe myrtle? No, it's an oak. It's an oak. I got excited. If it was a crepe, no, it's an ulmus species. Oh, this might even be the native quote cedar elm. But again, down here in South Texas, the cedar elms only really grow close to the river without irrigation.
Looks like shit. Looks like absolute fucking dog shit.
Right? Upland areas were more thorn scrub, got more of the mimosoid legumes. I got excited. That was a crepe myrtle. That would have been fucking perfect. Crepe myrtles are as bleak as it can get. If this was a crepe myrtle, you gotta get more crepe myrtles in here. We gotta cut that mesquite down too. Cut these mesquites, put in some crepe myrtles, make it as bleak as possible. Oh God, I want to just oil myself up with olive oil and go lay on that in July. Look at that parking lot, fucking brutally hot. You don't want tree cover. Whatever you do, you don't want tree cover, okay? We're going for bleak. If you're not on board with bleak, you can't be doing landscaping down here, and you certainly don't belong in any of these shithole developments, okay? Cut this down, cut that down, and we're gonna piss away water. Why don't we?
God forbid we see any green.
Just so
some Fast and 666. Thank you so much for the 5 gifts.
Bermuda, or better yet, St. Augustine in this dirt lot, and put an irrigation system there. That's creating jobs, fuckface. Now stepping across the street, let's go botanize this dirt lot. Look, this is available. You could build some here. You could purchase this and develop some. I said, wow. Now walking across the field gives you a real idea of what would be here once you remove the vegetation, okay? We've had a disturbance event, land clearing, and it's so hot that it's, not even anything's really getting established here. We're also in a drought. You could see remnants of Solanum eleagnifolium right there, a relative of tomatoes. It's a wonderful native, but they're even having a hard time getting going because they're just exposed to the hot sun. This is why it's important to keep the natural vegetation here. But again, I don't want to get people thinking too much. I don't want to get them, using common sense because that'll ruin the whole plan we got here. Now you can see what we got. These little shrubs poking up. These are actually mesquites, all right? So there were trees here at one point, or the seeds germinated at one point. They were never allowed to get very tall, and they just keep getting mowed over. But if you were to just let that mow, if you were to just stop mowing and let a single shoot, cut all the other shoots, let a single shoot grow up, you'd have a wonderful native tree. You'd have a little mesquital forest. Again, that makes too much sense. That would be too much shade. It wouldn't look as hideous as it does now, and we can't do that. That just makes too much sense, right? You're gonna cut all those shoots, let one grow, give it a leader, and let that turn into.
Isn't it insane that we have areas that even in like the hottest, most desert areas, greenery will still grow? The most green, beautiful trees will grow despite all of the efforts to make this ugly fucking grass grow where it shouldn't be growing. And we're like, no, this can't be allowed. Remove it immediately. We need to put fucking concrete. We need to put grass that requires 1 billion gallons of water every second right now.
A tree. You don't want a tree on this landscape. Louis, do you want a tree? I don't want a tree here. I like that it looks like shit now. Now, certainly they're going to put, again, they're going to come in here, regrade it, put a pad in, giant asphalt parking lot, 160 degree surface temperatures, lovely. Okay, but these are just the remnant mesquites that just keep getting mowed over whenever they call a landscaping company to come in here and mow this over. This looks like, is this KR blue stem? This is an invasive grass. But, you get a lot of invasive grasses. Oh, this is one of my favorites. One of my favorite natives. Again, I almost don't want to show it to you because we're, the theme of today's episode is bleakness, but I'll do it anyway. This is Solanum eleagnifolium, member of the nightshade family, tomato family, potato family. You get those 5 yellow anthers in that white style. right down there. You can see it's covered in pubescence, which helps it cope with the drying winds and the heat. And it's great. It's got a tuberous root. It'll get mowed, and then it's got reserves down there in the ground, and that's...
I'm sorry, let me get this straight. You think we should plant these beautiful flowers that require literally no effort at all and will grow on their own despite getting no help from human beings? No, I don't think so. We can't plant these. We need these ugly ass fucking brushes. We need this shit, man. That requires 1 billion gallons of water and still looks like shit. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me get this straight. You want a plant that looks good without any effort at all.
Folium, member of the...
You want these. No.
Nightshade family, tomato family, potato family. You get those 5 yellow anthers in that white style right down there. You can see it's covered in pubescence, which helps it cope with the drying winds and the heat. And it's great. It's got a tuberous root. It'll get mowed, and then it's got reserves down there in the ground, and that storage mechanism gets a little bit of rain. It'll shoot back up. Maybe it doesn't even need rain because there's probably moisture at depth. Couple feet down. Got one of the cool native beetles. I wonder if that's a Euphoria species or what. I don't think that is Euphoria. See, there's a beetle with the genus of beetle here named Euphoria. But we can also see those tubes right there. That's the native desert termite, which is responsible for a lot of the nutrient and biomass cycling here. Great to see them. They always seem to do really good, especially when, you know, half the grass is dead because they eat dead grass to begin with. But this is a wonderful plant. It gets a lot of hate as a weed. But it's a native pioneer species, probably very aggressive overseas and probably would be a really horrible weed on a continent like Australia or the continent of Africa. But here it's great. We also got our native Helianthus annuus here, which is a very important pollinator plant that's...
Sorry, let me get this straight. You think we should have yellow flowers in gardens that require next to no maintenance instead of this shit? What about the profits for the water company? I'm just like, I just don't understand. How do you think that the landscaping companies are going to make money? How do you think that the water company... Can someone please think of the Nestle shareholders? What the fuck are you people talking about? Like, I don't understand. Like, how this isn't profitable. Having plants that naturally are gorgeous, how if they don't require any maintenance, how is someone supposed to profit off of that?
Flies that use sunflowers as a host plant from getting established on it. Right? A lot of members of the sunflower family have a very unique chemical profile, which works great as anti-herbivory compounds. But let's step over and look at this convolvulus. I said, wow, wonderful native convolvulus. Again, like that solanum, it's got that minty green color on the leaves because it's got that little coating of pubescence. A thin coating of pubescence. Morning Glory family, Convolvulaceae, beautiful white flowers. This is Convolvulus equitans, and it's thriving on the margins of a soon-to-be cleared shithole lot, right? But this looks better. This might be ugly now, but it looks better than that's gonna look. I mean, my soul dies whenever I'm around buildings like that. You get me too close, you get me like I'm you know what? The whole time I've been recording this video, I've been dying on the inside. I'll be honest with you. Get a nice money shot of that convolvulus. Look at that. White tube flowers going for mouth pollination, lepidopteran pollination too. Actually, you know what? Those stamens are exerted, so there's probably some bees hitting that as well. But generally you see that white funnel form shape, you think moths. But again, that mint green coating of pubescence from the hairs, which enable it. It's a strategy this plant evolved over millions of years of natural selection in its environment to deal with one of the hottest climates in North America. And certainly, this is one of the hottest climates in North America. Just think of how lovely that asphalt's going to feel once you get the heat island effect going in the peak summer months of July and August, right? This asphalt will never cool down. It heats up to 160 degrees surface temperatures, goes about 8 inches deep, and will never really cool down. By the time the sun comes up at 5 a.m. after an evening, this is still going to be probably 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So the whole area just gets hotter, and you've got no tree cover because they planted non-native bullshit and most of it died. Excellent job I almost want to give this a 10 out of 10, but they could do more on the bleakness. Certainly, if this was a development, like if they had a parking lot here and maybe a billboard, some LED billboards there, and less trees in the background, this would be a 10 out of 10. But right now, this is close. 9 out of 10. Bleak as hell, and good job. Very proud. Let's give them a round of applause. They really did it here. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. We'll check us out next week on another episode of Spiritually Depraved and Misery-Inducing Landscapes in North America. That's all I got. Have a good rest of your day. Go fuck yourself. Bye.
The cherry on top is the fact that the parking lot is gigantic and completely empty in the middle of a business day. Not only is the land intensive to care for, ugly as sin, and doomed from the start, but the area could be used for literally anything else, and it would be more beneficial than a flat, sweltering lot. Having no trees also means you get a nice constant driving wind to blow dust into your eyes. When I go to when I go for a hike in the forest, all I can think is, man, I wish all these trees were evenly spaced out in a straight line. As a European, I gotta say, most of America looks like a half-empty Gary's Mod map. There is a remarkable array of landscapes in the Midwest that would be vastly improved if approximately 17 million bison trampled it all. I'm just tired of the unironic propaganda that we can't have beautiful trees in deserts. There's this misconception that trees have never grown and can never grow in a desert. And it just pisses me the fuck off. It pisses me off so fucking bad, dude. Why? 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 Makes me so sad. Like, guys, I was walking around LA. It's like the main street, no fucking trees, no shade. It's just it's so hot. It's so hot. I'm dying. Please. Please. I need a reprieve. The next street down, make 2 rights, residential. It's literally 10 degrees cooler. It's literally 10 degrees cooler. Because there's just trees everywhere providing shade. So anyways, I just needed to go on that tangent for a brief moment. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys now know one of the things that I'm the most passionate about. All right? You're supposed to drive everywhere, Denims. That's your problem. Yeah, but then what? You have to get out of your car eventually. You just suffer for every second that you're out of your car. That's horrible. I don't even mind the driving so much. I hate that you drive to a destination, any destination, and you're just still suffering. Did you even think about the fact that harsh landscaping makes strong men? Oh my god, dude. It's okay, guys. That's enough jerking you guys around. It's time. Guys, what did he mean by this?
Handle it change. Yeah. But I mean, is that like
you thought Sydney Sweeney's boobs were great? I see mine.
Looking good. Yeah. Solid peak up there.
Put a little share, you know.
Yeah. I think we just got flagged on YouTube again.
Yeah, we did. That was definitely going to give us a censorship moment. Yeah.
Grade A moves.
Yeah. No, but do people change their mind? I mean,
it's actually technically there's no such thing as grade A move.
God, it's off the rails already.
Broskies, fuck OnlyFans. Elon just gave us material for the whole week. Is he the baddest in the game right now? And if you say no, name who is. I feel like the population should be allowed to vote. If you accept, or you have accepted billions of dollars of welfare from the state, billions of dollars. If you or any of your companies have accepted billions of dollars from the state for my fucking taxes, the population should be allowed to vote if we can throw peanuts at you everywhere you go forever until you stop taking government money. I don't think that that's unfair. Just stop fucking stealing from the American people if you want the peanuts to stop. I don't understand why that's not American policy, why that was not written into the Constitution. I just don't. Being a little homoerotic with the boys is great, but this Twitter user is mentally unwell. Huh? Okay. Do people not understand sarcasm anymore? Dude. No one understands satire anymore. Also, what do you mean being a little homoerotic with the boys is great? This is so cringe. It's just a bunch of fucking rightoids sitting there and glazing Elon so that they can potentially get a crumb of fucking money from him. It's a DJ Academics reference? Yeah. This is an objectively very funny post. That's why there's 63,000 likes on it and 1.8 million views. All right. Let me. I just saw a terrible comment that made me explode. Let me pull this up. I almost forgot. This was something else that I was going to show you guys.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Asmongold, the streamer, responded to the video I made a little while ago called Asmongold's Terrorist Propaganda.
An individual made a video about me. His name is Noah Sampson. The video is called Asmongold's Terrorist Propaganda.
And it was interesting because his response was to agree with the point of the video, that he supports terrorism as long as it's the US and Israel doing it. Terrorism is okay when we do it, but when they...
Yes, that's correct. That's absolutely correct.
But to Asmongold, there's no double standard here because he has different values and these values rely on a hierarchy of human rights.
There's not a double standard. There's just a misunderstanding of my value system. My value system works like this. American interests are my primary concern. Western interests are my secondary concern. And I would say harmonious world interests are my third concern.
We are human and they are not. To quote Asmongold himself, it's really that simple.
It's that simple. Yes, that's correct.
And that's fairly straightforward, right? If you view some groups as less human than others, then you won't care if they get killed or genocided. Under his moral framework, this all makes sense. But if this is his position, then why does he have to lie? See, in his reaction stream, Asmongold tells a bunch of lies. He misrepresents sources, he denies facts, he ignores evidence, all in order to deny that Israel and the United States are doing terrorism, that they're killing civilians, committing genocide, starting wars of aggression, which is odd, right? Because if he's okay with US-Israeli terrorism,
that's absolutely correct,
then he shouldn't need to lie about these things. So let's just look at some examples of what I mean, right? So in my video, I brought up the Manab Elementary School bombing. On the first day of the war, the US bombed an elementary school and killed over 150 people. The vast majority of them were children and teachers. And in response, Asmongold blamed Iran. In the first week of the war, the United States blew up an Iranian elementary school, killing 156 people.
I think Iran blew it up themselves, in my opinion. I don't think it was us. I think Iran blew it up themselves. They have no problem martyring their own people, and
I'm not even going to talk about. Well, I am, but I'm not going to say more than him of all people being the person to say they're known for martyring their own people.
I wouldn't put it past them.
We've known since basically the week that this happened that it was the United States. They used Tomahawk missiles. There's visual and fragment evidence.
Speaking to weapons analysts, they identified this missile as a Tomahawk missile, and only the US in that war was using Tomahawk missiles.
And every subsequent investigation on the issue has shown that it was the United States. From the New York Times, from Sky News, from Amnesty International, from Forensic Architecture, from the US government officials themselves. The claim that Iran was responsible originates from some monarchist Telegram groups that pushed misinformation about this happening, and then that was boosted by a bunch of pro-Israel social media circles. But these were quickly debunked.
This Telegram account has no link to Iranian authorities. It is an opposition outlet that is well known for mixing information and satire.
And that was 4 months ago. So either Asmongold saw this 4 months ago and then did not encounter a single piece of information since about what happened, or he has, and he's not telling the truth. Who knows, it could be either. Let's look at some more examples. In my video, I compared Israel's ceasefire violations with Hezbollah's. During the so-called ceasefire in Lebanon, Israel had committed over 10,000 violations, while Hezbollah on the other side had fired only 4 rockets. But Asmongold still manages to defend Israel here for an amazing reason. Where Israel committed literally 10,000 violations, Hezbollah fired a total of 4 rockets. But for him, that's a valid reason to promote the IDF's destruction of
I think flying over something is not as bad as shooting a rocket. I think shooting a bomb at somebody is worse than flying an airplane.
So what does Israel use to drop its bombs? Uses planes. Does he?
No, are you serious? Right? Whoa, 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 whoa. That can't be right.
You think the 10,000 violations were just people flying around doing nothing for no reason? They were bombing Lebanon.
No, they were doing like a little fun air show. You know, they were like, wee, look.
Of times. They killed nearly 400 people.
We saw a barrage of IDF missiles fired across Lebanon. This was the heaviest bombardment of the conflict so far.
Again, does he actually just not know that Israel uses its planes for bombing, or is there another explanation? In my video, I brought up a report from the IAEA in 2018, which showed that Iran was abiding by the terms of the nuclear deal when the United States just pulled out. The point being that Asmongold's definition of terrorism included being untrustworthy in negotiations.
They can't be allowed to be trusted. They've already broken too many deals before. They've lied too many times.
That's what the US was doing here, so they're the terrorists. Pretty simple point, you'd think. Despite observations from independent experts.
That can't be right, because I know that my media training has told me that terrorist means that the person has to be brown, and Americans are obviously white. So there's no way that the Americans could be the terrorists in this equation. I mean, just like use simple common sense here. Hello?
That Iran was abiding by the terms of the agreement. It was
Why are you citing the IAEA whenever this is what he was just citing here? Why would you cite the IAEA whenever the IAEA also detected that Iran had uranium that was enriched at 60%? When the enrichment that you need for power is only 3 to 5%.
That's exactly what the 2018 report found. Throughout the reporting period, Iran's total enriched uranium stockpile has not exceeded.
His point doesn't even make sense. Why would you cite an organization that is impartial? Huh?
300 kilograms, enriched up to 3.67%. The figure he's referring to of 60% didn't occur until years after the US withdrew from the nuclear deal. And if you're thinking, okay, maybe he's just confused or wrongfully throwing out the IAEA as a source when the figures disagree with him, he is lying here because someone in his chat calls him out. They point out that the report I'm citing is from 2018, and he reads the chat, ignores it, and moves on.
Your own sources show that you're wrong. That's it. Like, I mean,
There's something incredible that one person can be so fucking stupid.
this is insane. Like, what are we doing? 2018. Yes.
Of the agreement, it was the United States who randomly decided to pull out. So this sort of strange, confused lying thing isn't the only tactic he uses to pretend that the US and Israel aren't terrorists. Another one of his moves is just straight up propaganda, like Netanyahu speech IDF spokesman style propaganda. And with this one, he really plays the hits.
Remember when I said, look, remember chat, I was the first person to clock this, all right? I know pre-watch Piker has a tendency to steal all of my takes. But let it be known, all right? Let it be known. I have been the first person to clock this appropriately and correctly. Asmongold's strategy when streaming, and you will notice it, if you've watched any of his stream, you will never be able to unsee this going forward. His strategy is say some platitudes that don't make any sense, fill the space by saying, there it is, yeah, based, what are we doing here? Say a bunch of sentences, follow that up with a bunch of sentences that don't make sense until you eventually catch one chat message you can read out loud and say, yup, and then go and press play. His goal is fill as much space as possible until he gets chat sentiment and then regurgitates chat sentiment back at them.
You know, human shields.
They want to use these people as human shields, get people killed for international clout.
When they use civilians as human shields, they're the ones who are responsible.
They use the Lebanese people as human shields while they fire rockets from apartment buildings into Israel.
Hezbollah has been using you as human shields. It placed rockets in your living rooms and missiles in your garage.
Using innocent people as human shields.
To the civilians that Hamas has forced into the role of human shields.
The reason why they're firing rockets from residential areas is so they can martyr these people.
While we take extensive measures to minimize civilian casualties, Hamas makes every effort to maximize.
The cluster munitions? Yeah, that's classic effort from Israel to minimize casualties.
Them.
Human shields.
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 Israel has the right to defend itself.
He frames everything as if this is just a random attack. This is just randomly happening. It's happening because Israel is getting bombed. They're shooting missiles over to Israel.
These are his go-to responses for any time I put evidence of Israeli war crimes or genocidal actions on the screen. Every single example, automatically, it's a canned response. He has no evidence for any of them. So like I show an example of an apartment block that Israel completely destroyed in late October in the Jubilee refugee camp in Gaza. Over 120 people were killed, the vast majority of them women and children. And Asmongold's response is to defend it automatically without even knowing what happened. Doing in Gaza is killing entire families by leveling apartment blocks, killing toddlers.
Then stop shooting rockets from apartment buildings.
The IDF itself didn't even mention rocket fire. Like he's going above and beyond to lie for Israel. And he ends up doing the same thing over top of a screenshot of a news story about Hind Rajab, the toddler that Israeli soldiers murdered with her whole family and denied them medical assistance. And then when they did grant it, they murdered the medical workers.
6-year-old Hind Rajab climbed into a car with her aunt, her uncle, and her cousins in Gaza City as they prepared to flee to the southern part of Gaza. But as they were in the car, an Israeli tank approached them and opened fire. Hind's 15-year-old cousin, Leon, called the Red Crescent for help. These were her last words recorded on the call with a Red Crescent dispatcher.
Hello?
Hello, dear.
They are shooting at us.
Hello?
They are shooting at us. The tank is next to me.
Are you hiding?
Yes, in the car. We're next to the tank.
Are you inside the car?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
That was 15-year-old Leanne's last words, killed along with the rest of her family. The only one who remained alive was 6-year-old Hind. Wounded, she called the Red Crescent back, pleading with the dispatcher to be rescued.
Come take me. You will come and take me?
Do you want me to come and take you?
I'm so scared. Please come. Please call someone to come and take me.
Okay, dear, I will come and take you.
After seeking approval from the Israeli military, 2 emergency workers with the Palestine Red Crescent, Yusuf Seno and Ahmed Almadoun, went to try to rescue 6-year-old Hind. But dispatchers lost contact with the medics. Nearly 2 weeks later, Israeli forces finally withdrew from the area, and on Saturday, Hind's surviving family ventured back to the neighborhood. They found Hind dead inside the car, alongside the bodies of 5 of her family members. The car was riddled with bullet holes. The bodies of the 2 emergency workers were also found in an ambulance nearby, appeared to have been killed by Israeli fire just yards away from the car.
While this story is on the screen, he's talking about some rocket fire. It's very jarring to watch.
Stop shooting rockets from apartment buildings.
In some cases, he goes above and beyond typical Israeli propaganda claims. So to downplay the civilian death toll in Gaza, he argues that they're being over-reported because Hamas kills journalists that report military casualties. The vast majority of the people that Israel has killed in Gaza have been civilians. That is the conclusion of every...
Responding to the criticism by saying, of course. Can you imagine if another country killed more civilians than military members in the United States? And can you imagine him saying, of course, to that?
Independent expert. The only ones...
Because any people that go over there have to be pressured by the terrorists, because if they don't repeat the terrorist propaganda, the terrorists kill them. That's the reason why.
And this one's just bizarre because, like, obviously, no one needs to make anything up to prove civilian casualties. There's thousands upon thousands of videos and photos. But journalists aren't even the one that tally death tolls. That's the health ministries in Gaza and Lebanon. That's the usual line of attack for Israel propagandists, is to say they're not trustworthy, even though they are, based on independent observers. And the Israeli military itself has accepted their figures. But the ministries are typically what people attack. This is something completely different and off the wall, and I've never seen it actually happen. He doesn't cite a single source in this video, but he does allude to a source, and it's for this claim about journalists being killed by Hamas, which is a 10-year-old expose about the Associated Press. It was written by a former IDF soldier and at the time AP journalist.
And this is actually exposed by a person coming out of the Associated Press about 15 years ago. But for some reason, people just keep eating it up and assuming that everything that they're saying is completely true.
But even that article written by the former IDF soldier doesn't say that. It talks about a handful of instances of journalist intimidation, but not a single instance of actual violence, let alone killing. And then he moves from this claim, where he's pretending to care about journalist freedom, to say that, well, actually, all the journalists in Gaza are Hamas, so you can kill them anyways, I don't care. Targeting men, women, children, journalists, health.
Of course. They're not journalists, by the way. Half of their journalists have pictures of them fighting and shooting an AK-47. The entire idea that, oh, yeah, Israel's killing these journalists. Remember the other Hamas journalist that, like, he gets killed and there's, like, 5 videos of him shooting an AK-47? You guys have no idea how deep this terrorist propaganda goes.
These justifications are only coherent if your one principle is defending Israel. When he can't deny the facts by just lying about them or misrepresenting sources, and when he can't deflect with Israeli propaganda lies, he just folds. He doesn't even try to respond or defend himself. He'll either scoff and roll his eyes, shooting babies in the head with snipers while they're being breastfed by their mothers alone in tents in broad daylight. The vast majority of the people that Israel has killed in Gaza have been civilians. That is the conclusion of every independent expert. Or sit there in silence while facts are being displayed on the screen that challenge his worldview. On March 12th, 2026, Israel bombed a beachside tent encampment housing people that they had displaced from their bombings, killing 8 and wounding 31. The strike came in the middle of the night, and it was a double tap strike. The first missile landed and killed 3 people near the beach, and when people approached to help the victims, the second missile landed. No evacuation warning was issued. This was in a safe zone. Before Hezbollah existed, Israel invaded Lebanon, killed tens of thousands of people, the vast
You can see how how his brain is just completely turned off. He's not accepting any new information. It's simply, yeah, well, maybe they deserve to die.
Majority of whom were women and children, directly facilitated the slaughter and rape of thousands of civilians in the Sabra and Shatila massacre, a massacre the United Nations General Assembly declared an act of genocide. Hezbollah was formed in response to this genocidal invasion, as a group resisting it, fighting to get Israel out of their country. And that's exactly what they did. Or he'll feign disinterest, he'll pretend that he doesn't care about Israel.
I don't really care what Israel is doing, because Israel isn't the one that are blowing up our trade ships and disrupting trade in the Strait of Hormuz. I have no interest in what Israel is doing or not. What Israel does with Iran or with Lebanon or with Gaza, that is their purview.
Even though he spent the previous hour, defending it, using all its propaganda talking points.
Human shields.
Or history. History is a big one. He doesn't care about it. When that history shows examples of past Israeli aggression.
All of this historical babble, all of this bullshit means literally nothing to me. I don't care what happened in 1950. I don't care what happened in 1970.
But when he wants to defend current Israeli aggression, then he does care about history all of a sudden.
Look at Lebanon in the 60s. It was a great place. Lebanon has the potential to prosper and be a great country. They can't do that if they have Hezbollah in their country.
Or their genocidal bombing campaign in Gaza, which he compares favorably to Dresden.
Remember we dropped a firebomb on Dresden when we burned thousands of people alive? Shouldn't have fucked around.
Or there's a concern trolling where he says, no, I don't care about the people in these places. I just care about Americans. But also, I actually care the most about the people in these places.
The people that are in these countries suffer the most from it. They are the ones that suffer from it more than anybody else. More than Israelis, more than Americans, more than anybody else. They are the ones that are truly being terrorized and terrified by these evil people. And I think that's the saddest thing about it.
And on top of all these tactics, right, the lying, the propagandizing, the retreating, you have the biggest lie, which is that all of these things are within the interests of American citizens.
But fundamentally, as an American, I have to advocate for American interests. I simply have a tier list of the people whose best interests I keep in mind. At the top of that tier list ranks American civilians, American citizens.
That's right, American citizens. It is within your interest to pay a bunch of money for gas and pay over $1,000 per family due to a destabilized global economy and send $100 billion of taxpayer money to kill children overseas instead of helping children here and having troops get vaporized. There is nothing Americans love more than all of these things. And the reason they love it, right? The reason you love it is because it's a trade-off we are willing to make for the ultimate goal of killing terrorism.
I think that we need to remove the IRGC and we need to completely dismantle them in all facets and all facilities. Islamic terrorism is an existential threat across the Middle East and also globally the world.
Yeah, and how's that going?
Yeah, I mean, it's going really well, right? This is the same as when people say we can't raise minimum wage, we can't invest in infrastructure, we can't have health care because then you'll lose your doctor. We can't have any of those things, okay? Because it would actually make your life worse. Don't ask me how, but it would make your life worse. Okay.
Man, have you checked the news lately? You wanted regime change?
We can't do any of those things because it'll make your life worse, but also at the same time, your life is going to get worse anyways, so why would we do anything? Okay. We have to do something about all these terrorists in the Middle East. And what have we been doing recently? What exactly have we been doing? Oh, murdering a bunch of civilians in the Middle East. And how is that working out? You're creating more terrorists. Oh, okay, well, we shouldn't change our strategy. We should just keep doing it. Clearly, it's working, right?
Oh, looks like you couldn't get it. You wanted to open the Strait of Hormuz? Oh, looks like that couldn't happen either.
Iran again insisted it will keep the Strait of Hormuz closed until the U.S. meets a sweeping list of demands.
The nuclear deal that you blew up to try and get a better one? The latest terms not looking so hot.
Now that we have the text, it is materially weaker than President Obama's JCPOA for the United States.
The Iranians put forward a new proposal, which is actually quite remarkable. What they say in that proposal is that every one of the issues, except the nuclear issue, has to be settled up front, which is another way of saying the United States has to concede on every one of the 10 issues that I described before. We're not only talking now about lifting oil sanctions, we're talking about lifting all sanctions.
That's fine, no big deal. It's not like we depleted our missile stockpiles, conceded sanctions relief and reconstruction money, and weakened the American empire in humiliating fashion. Mission accomplished, chat. Thank you for your service. Okay, so anyways, we return to that question of why. If he says he's okay with killing civilians, then why is he lying and pretending like he's not? If he says he's okay with the US acting like a rogue state, why is he lying and pretending it's not? Even when that belligerence is directly harming everyone in the world except like a few billionaire pedophiles and weapons manufacturers. And I think there's a few reasons, right? I think it's preaching to the choir. If you go to these videos, you'll see a bunch of comments talking about how awesome Asmongold is for defending America's right to go out and kill terrorists. The choir is in on the lie, right? They're willing to watch Asmongold fail to address the facts that prove that when they say they're fighting terrorism, they're actually just killing a bunch of kids and, you know, doing the terrorism. They'll still believe that and support him regardless of what he says. But also for the people that are somewhere outside of just the full choir, I think he's, you know, he's misleading them. He's making it so that when they encounter evidence of Israel committing a genocide or the US mass murdering people in wars of aggression, they come with these lies planted in their heads about how what they're seeing or reading actually isn't real.
I don't think it was us. I think Iran blew it up themselves. Shooting a bomb at somebody is worse than flying an airplane. The enrichment that you need for power is only 3 to 5%. Stop shooting rockets from apartment buildings. They're not journalists, by the way. Half of their journalists have pictures of them fighting and shooting an AK-47.
The thing that is happening, one of the
It's like the level of lying is insane. Because I would understand just like the pure racism of just, I don't give a fuck what happens. I don't care how many of these people we kill. Because their lives don't matter. But it's like the lying to justify the already existing horrible position is just insane.
most documented things in modern history actually is fake or actually is something other than it is. I think lying also helps protect the grift, right? Like if you're right wing and you support Israel, you can kind of say whatever you want and you won't actually be punished monetarily or by platforms. Somehow Asmongold has managed to push it. He recently got a 2-week ban for advocating for the murder of migrant men, women, and children.
This is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids. It's really simple.
This feels like a weird, sick game of like Family Feud where it's like the prompt is type of things that a school shooter would say to justify the mass murder they just went on.
Blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids. It's really simple. You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over.
But he's also aware that it's not a sustainable strategy to be saying stuff like that all the time, so he's acknowledged himself. He's going to tone down his rhetoric, not because he doesn't believe this stuff, but because he doesn't want to get banned.
I might try to I'm going to try to obviously tone it down a little bit because I don't want to get suspended all the time.
People like this aren't going to last forever, right? But facts are facts, and the truth is the truth, and hopefully, despite their best efforts, the truth will outlast them. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Goodbye. Kitty wants me to be done with the video. Say hi, baby. Say hi, baby cat.
Worm friend.
Okay.
I want my worm friend, but I don't even know where he is. I think if I call him, he'll come. Mayor cat. Mayor worm. Mayor worm. Mayor cat. I don't know where he is. I think he's asleep. He might be sleeping. You just alarmed my dog? Sorry. My bad. He might be eeping. He's usually eeping at this hour. He usually wakes up with an obscene amount of energy. Bothers the shit out of me. Then I have to play with him for like 15 minutes in the morning. And then he usually passes the fuck out while I'm streaming. He's like, well, it's not like I get to have your attention anyways, so I guess I'll just sleep. If I have to. All right. Let me pull this up. Oh, man. We're going to continue. It's we're back to torture time.
Ever use something.
Okay, I think we finished talking about this guy, so let's keep going.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. So, yeah, you're not going to have me defending the Democratic Party. I mean,
The Democratic Party has, you know, I actually don't really care about this prompt. I was kind of done with this prompt. Can we do the next prompt? Oh, yes. We came back at a great time. Yes.
Absolutely.
Chair.
The United States is tracking towards a civil war.
If you'd like to be the first debater.
The United States is tracking towards a civil war.
Please head to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back.
Yep. You miss me? So, listen, I think that we are getting closer towards a peak of civil unrest in this country, and in all honesty, I'm going to blame people like you. This entire time, you've been trying to blur the line.
Oh my God, he's back. He's back!
Between what separates you and a person like me and everybody in this circle. Okay. The truth is you don't agree. On your show, you have 5 white supremacists around you and 1 liberal lawyer talking about why we should protect the Constitution. On Twitter, you're mentioning the Civil War and why we need to have a civil war 24/7.
I've never said we need to have a civil war.
No, you've said civil war numerous times. Slates of screenshots over the last 4 years alone.
Saying that
I'm not
there
done.
will
talking
be
about shooting
one
ivermectin up your ass.
I've never talked
all the time.
I've
Stop
never
talking,
advocating
stop.
for ivermectin.
Yeah,
you have literally no idea what you're talking about. You've not done any research and you've never used Google. I've never advocated for ivermectin.
You've never used Google.
Not once.
He's not going to stop talking. You're going to waste the
I've never used it. I've never used I said no.
I mean, Tim Pool is literally, the thing that he is the most well known for is constantly being on the lookout and encouraging a civil war.
You shouldn't use it.
I'm going to get to the point
So if you
here.
want to make things up,
Are you an
and
intellectual or are you too much of a child
You
to
want
stop
to just
talking?
waste time, then we can waste time. But if you have an
You're
actual
wasting time
argument,
right now, yeah.
so if you
I'm about to give it to
agree
you.
with me on the issue, but you don't
Typically-
like me, then we can agree and you can
No, I
leave.
think you're responsible. I think
That's
you're
fine.
responsible.
You can get up
An
and leave
individual
then.
like you're mad.
If you
Yeah,
agree,
you just don't want to finish. You know where I'm going to go with this.
Do you agree?
You
You
so mistrust in
You're
United
allowed
States
to blame me
institutions.
all you want, and then we can agree and you can leave.
You just want to run away from the
Are
conversation?
you here to dispute my claim or agree with it?
I think you're responsible.
That's fantastic. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Oh, you don't want to hear why you're responsible?
It doesn't matter because you're here to dispute my claims, right? Not
It
agree
doesn't
with
matter.
me?
You don't. All of a sudden, you want to stick to the definition of your claims when it comes to just about everything.
Are you
Everything
supposed
else
to
you want
agree with me and
you
sit
wanna
here and
ch-
agree
You're not
with
going
me?
to stop talking, are you?
Are you going to sit here and agree
Are you
with
to
me?
control yourself? You're like
You're
50
gonna
years
sit-
old,
you're
bro.
gonna sit
Calm
here and
down.
agree with me?
Calm down.
You come down.
I
you
don't
sit
agree
down,
with you.
you
I
don't
disagree
shake
with you on
hands,
everything.
You make fake claims.
Of course I do.
I've
If
never
anybody's
advocated-
doing something that
never
they don't
advo-
actually
never
believe in, it's
advocated
you
for
because you're getting paid by
ivermectin.
other
In fact,
countries.
I argued
You're
with
an
Joe
asset
Rogan
for our
on
foreign
his
adversaries,
show.
bro.
I
You're an
advocated on
asset
Joe
for our foreign
Rogan's show
adversaries.
against ivermectin.
David, can you please address the claim?
I think America is getting closer to civil war, and it's all because of people like Tim Pool.
Thank you for agreeing with me. Have a nice day.
Yeah, you're a coward, bro.
Well, if you don't agree with me, I don't know why you're here. Also, I would recommend doing research.
If you don't agree with me, why are you here? Wait, what?
Coward, bro.
Well, if you don't agree with me, I don't know why you're here.
He's saying I think he meant to say, well, if you agree with my prompt, then why were you even sitting there? But then he misspoke. Oh! Dude, he actually fried his ass so bad, dude. Oh my god. He like he rustled. He got his panties in a fucking knot, dude. He actually made him so mad.
Also, I would recommend doing research before you come to a place like this.
If you'd like to be the next debater.
Dude, his jimmies were so rustled, dude. His panties were tied up in a knot, dude. Yeah, well, why don't you do research when you come in?
Please head to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back.
Damn.
Good to see you again.
Great to see you again.
Yeah.
First time we talked about this was in 2019, so it's been quite.
Guys, this is how you know I'm an insufferable, annoying person. Because, like, that guy's great. I mean, Mason's cool too, but the green-haired, green shirt guy, that guy's great, dude. I love people that just can't control themselves, dude. They can't.
I think it was before that, actually.
They can't resist just being annoying, dude. As one annoying person to every other annoying person. Oh man, is it hard? Is it hard to not like annoying people? It's like, it's such a bad quality, but it's such a good quality. When you're actually based, ah.
I've never called for civil war.
Or not calling for, I'm sorry, said that we're on
Important
the brink
distinction.
of civil war.
And what was the citation I had for when I said that?
I would love you to
It was
tell
The
me.
Atlantic.
Okay.
And it was a journalist who interviewed several national security experts who said...
Here, let me pull up Tim Pool.
...that there is a range of opinions in the national security space that the U.S. is trending towards a civil war. Notably, that when you cite people like Stephen Marsh, journalist, as well as Barbara F. Walter, former CIA, the U.S. academics describe the period that we're in as civil strife, meaning there's a criteria of death that has occurred for political reasons over the past year or years, for which the next phase would be civil war. However, we'll make my point, tracking towards it, I've not said that it will happen, although there's been many people who have said that we are in a cold civil war or some kind of cultural civil war. I always caveat, because I don't actually have a strong prediction.
First of all, you do have a strong prediction if you've been saying this since 2019. There's
Well,
42.
reading articles about
People
it,
can
sure.
look this up. There's
Yeah.
42 of your titles that have the word civil war in it.
Correct.
With big fonts on the front.
They sure do.
So why is that? It's sensationalist. It's easy to get clicks on that. There's a reason why you say it, because it's very profitable for your...
Just a quick search on Twitter. You are, from Tim Pool, August 1st, 2023. You are in a civil war. On a post from NBC News saying, breaking, former President Trump has been indicted by a federal grand jury investigating efforts to overturn the 2020 election. You mean people being held accountable to the law is somehow a civil war? Trump is the frontrunner for not just the GOP, but for the 2024 general. Removing him is an act of civil war. Guys, liberals think the civil war is coming. LOL, can you believe it? Dude said it's going to be a civil war because they're refusing the law. This is very dangerous to our democracy. The argument against civil war is population. Gen Z and Alpha are just too small. Holy fuck, look at the website. This is overtly illegal. I don't want to say outright civil war when there's a good chance foreign actors are doing this too, but holy fuck, Secretary of War needs to stop this. Yeah, this is a civil war. Pam Bondi, and that one is about a post that says, it's true, Pam Bondi sent Minnesota officials a letter today saying ICE would leave the state if Minnesota turns over its voter files to the Trump administration. Like literally 90% of his job is to fearmonger about a civil war. The reason I and others such as Tucker know these things is because when the U.S. plans regime change, you want to predict the outcome. Massive civil war, refugee crisis. Okay, so the civil war here is about Iran, not the United States. 2023. It's going to be funny in 100 years when they're like, quote, a major catalyst for the Second World War was when Democrats demanded the right to sterilize children and amputate healthy body parts, but faced opposition from Republicans. I see, I bookmarked this one because I thought it was so fucking stupid. Like, I to pretend like the person that isn't like causing 99% of the fear mongering about civil war is him. Like, hello?
Business.
Not necessarily.
But
We have 1,600 episodes of just IRL.
There comes a point where people stop taking your predictions seriously.
Are you going to make an argument, or are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you.
Okay, then let's make an argument about whether or not we are tracking. No. If you're making
this guy in the back.
an argument, you don't like my thumbnails, or you don't, you say my name over and over again.
I'm saying that you say bullshit in order to get money. But what I really think is
let me ask you a
the
question.
predictions.
Let me ask you a question you can't
answer. I will
answer.
agree with you that there's increased polarization. I would attribute a lot of that to people being specifically online.
Are you mad at me is so funny mid-debate. Me having a very serious conversation with someone. Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me? Don't be so mad at me, please.
Let me ask you.
There's
I
a
don't
lot
disagree.
less interaction with people that are in different camps.
Let me ask you a question.
But you're going to sit here and tell me that we're way more polarized than fucking Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr, who like shot each other with their disagreements? You're going to tell me that Andrew Jackson, who's the sitting president,
do you want to have a conversation, or are you just going to be angry?
Not polarization?
Why was Aaron Danielson shot in the chest twice?
Sorry?
Why was Aaron Danielson shot in the chest
I'm not
twice?
disagreeing that political violence is
Answer
taking
the
place
question.
in
You say
Tim
Alexander
Pool.
Hamilton and Aaron Burr, but then when I ask you a question about an
He
assassination.
doesn't understand that the answer that he if he would just let Mason speak, he would understand that he was answering the question. He's saying, yeah, those are random incidents of violence, not evidence of a civil war that is brewing.
You defer.
Where you can say that
Let me
there's
ask you a
civil
question.
war
Demanding an answer but refusing to allow the person to give a full answer is so like it's so cringy. It's like it's so low intelligence. Oh my fucking god.
every fucking year, and it doesn't happen. And
I
you're gonna
never
say,
said
it just
there
hasn't
was.
happened yet.
Let me ask you a
or
question.
if it does happen, you say, see, I've had it all
Let me
along.
ask you a
You
question.
are the same thing as
Let-
like the
let me
Christian rapture
ask you
people
a
who say
question.
that the rapture's coming every fucking year,
Are
and
you-
when it doesn't happen, it's
do you want
like,
a
oh, it's just not
soapbox?
happening.
Like this guy in the back in the green, he's like, yes, you're fucking eating. Yes. This is so mean.
Rapture
Ask you
people
a
who say
question.
that the rapture's coming every fucking year,
Are
and
you-
when it doesn't happen, it's
do you want a
like, oh, it's
soapbox?
just
Do you want me to get you a
I'm just saying,
soapbox?
it's really
I can leave.
easy.
Do you want me to-
I'm so glad they put this guy in the back, dude. Green shirt guy is the best one there. I know, right? Listen, I know Mason has a lot of enjoyers, but green shirt guy, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. Oh my god. Every time Tim starts losing, he just starts shouting, answer the question, answer the question. Yeah. I mean, what if he would let Mason fucking speak without interrupting him every fucking 3 seconds? What the point that Mason is making is very salient, which is you can't point at every single thing that might be evidence of a civil war about to be brewing and pretend like it proves your point, and then goalpost, next year's gonna happen, next year's gonna happen, next year's gonna happen, next year's gonna happen. How is that any different from the people that are like, the rapture is coming, it's coming, it was foretold in the Mayan calendar, it would be coming this year, and then there's no rapture, and they're like, oh, well, we double checked the calendar, it's actually next year. But the rapture is coming, it's gonna come, it's gonna come, it's coming.
It's really easy to like do what you do. It's really easy to do what you do. Like you literally just say.
That is so soy, dude. Wait, did he leave because the other guy put on the beanie? He rage quit because of the beanie.
Do you want a soapbox? Do you want me to get you a
I'm just saying,
soapbox?
it's really
I can leave.
easy.
You want me to
It's
go?
really easy to
You want
like
me
do
leave?
what you do.
You want me to
It's
leave?
really easy to do what you do. Like you literally just say, the Civil War is happening next year. Civil War is happening next year. It's coming. Make sure you subscribe to Timcast. Continue to watch my videos, please. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. It's easy to do what you do, bro. GG's. Tim, thank you for returning.
Nobody's actually had a debate yet. Are we going to actually talk about whether it will or will not happen? I mean, sounds like it's gonna.
All right. If you like to be the
People making fun of you is evidence of a civil war coming. Me when I'm getting bullied. See, this is evidence that a civil war is brewing. It's not that I'm an unlikable sackish tit and my name is Mr. Tim Pool. It must be that there's some type of civil war brewing.
next debater, please head to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome. Nice to meet you. Hey, nice to meet you.
I think we are being constantly fueled by the people that are already in charge, that are up on top, that are already wealthy, and that already have power over the entire government. Donald Trump has 8 billionaires in his administration, including himself. You see his sons profiting, you see his friends profiting, you see everyone in close ties with him profiting. They're not.
Dude, every single one of these Tim Pool prompts has been like, 1, very Weasley, but also 2, so fucking dog shit. Like, genuinely, just genuinely. What evidence would he see as reasonable for a civil war not brewing? Hey, I don't think a civil war is brewing. I think you fearmonger about a civil war constantly being like on the precipice. But we see Democratic Socialist candidates constantly get elected. We see people get upset, and instead of doubling down on their love for Trump, a lot of those same people, you know, they switch sides, or at the very least, they disagree that they're for exclusively and only Trump. And most people just want good politics. They don't want to hate their neighbors necessarily. There are some people that want to. There are a lot of people that want to, but there are also equally, if not more, number of people that don't want that. They just want to live an okay life. We were kind of talking about the same idea earlier in stream, and someone linked this video. 60,000 Trump voters just elected a socialist. We asked them why. MAGA for Mamdani. How is this possible? Maybe we can watch this in a little bit. But the reality is, people are not. There are more than enough people that are not complete diehards that would be open to any politician that would actually deliver and make their life better.
Going to give up this power. I don't think we're on the verge of a civil war. I think we're due for a...
But like, what would you, sorry, that would be the best, I think, answer that I would be able to give. But like, all he has to say is, well, nuh-uh, I think there's a civil war that's going to happen because people really don't like each other. It's like, okay. Now, like, now I don't understand. Now what?
revolution. Well, and I hope that's peaceful. I hope that's not violent. I hope we change.
This is fantastic. No, I appreciate this. Can I ask you some questions?
Yeah.
Do you believe that Donald, and I'm not trying to accuse you of believing this, but do you think that Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that there are Nazis in his administration?
In his administration? Few. Yeah.
Do you think that I mean, how do you feel about them using the military to go after undocumented migrants in this country?
I think it is an unnecessary use of force when we should be targeting violent criminals that have come into this country illegally. That should be the sole focus when 70% of detainees in ICE custody do not have a criminal conviction. We're wasting resources and trying to use a show of militaristic power, which is a huge proponent of...
I'm not going to lie. He's getting hardcore mogged by this guy.
Fascism.
How do you feel about the death of Renee Good and Alex Preddy?
Unjustified.
Are you going to do anything about it?
I'm going to rally everyone here.
Is rallying going to stop murder?
I don't do this.
Is rallying going to stop the killing of people?
I annoy my few hundred friends and followers on my Instagram posts by reposting news stories.
Do you think...
This guy, like, how stupid of a line of argument can you make? Does he think that, like, there was a civil war because gay people wanted the right to get married? Does he think that there was a civil war because women wanted the right to vote? You can have protests. You could even have riots and have the conditions of your state improve. State here meaning nation. Like, what? If you are unhappy with your elected officials and their current performance, that doesn't mean the next step is civil war.
Rallying will stop the killing of people.
What
by
I'm
ICE.
doing here now is trying to show people that they need to speak up, that we're not against each other right and left.
Do you believe speaking up will stop ICE from killing people?
I think speaking up will get us to the right process of voting people in the midterms and in the next election so that we can make changes the constitutional way.
How many people do you think will die between now and then?
Too many. There's already been too many people that have died.
So again, this is largely based off, I don't know if it's...
So wait, are you trying to incite a civil war?
No.
Do you want a civil war?
I'm asking
so
you if you actually believe...
What do you want to do against ICE?
I like ICE.
Then you're happy that they're killing people?
No.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
I'm going to vote for Trump again.
He's the one that's...
Wow, isn't it crazy that you can dislike... First of all, what a fucking the 17 levels of stupidity is amazing. First of all, your response immediately made your previous questions completely fucking meaningless. You don't like what's happening, so you're gonna vote. Oh, it's almost like there are other things that you can do besides cause a civil war because you don't like the state of the nation. Second, you don't like how Trump is using ICE, so you're gonna vote for ICE, for Trump again, to do exactly what ICE is doing. You don't like the killings, but you're going to vote for the people that are okay with the killings. Like, what?
Allowing ICE to kill people.
To be fair, I'm going to vote
taking,
for J.D. Vance.
As I just said, he's the one not taking accountability.
I think there's a distinction here. For one, the claim is meant to be like non...
Screenshot guy is sending me, dude.
Partisan, but I have, of course, my partisan views.
Of course.
I like the Trump administration, though they've done a lot of bad things.
And that's fine.
And we can call it those bad things, but I'm going to continue to support it. My point largely is either the progressives will stand up against what they perceive as fascism, or fascism takes over.
Which they are
now,
doing.
By all means,
we just had the largest protest in the history of the United States. No King's protest.
We're going to pause here. Thank you. You've been voted out by the majority.
Yeah.
If you'd like to be the next debater, please head to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so the whole thing about civil war is that I do think that you need some sort of leadership, you know, that is being financially disenfranchised to incentivize a civil war. And we don't really have any strong progressive leaders in
I'm so glad that they kept in Enemy Charlie's piece in here. I love her.
office currently that are being meaningfully financially disenfranchised, the way slavers were. So
But
I
you,
think
you,
that
you don't. That's the challenge. I think. just
yes,
to
that is
plug right-
absolutely yes. That
you
is
don't.
the,
If you take a look at civil wars throughout history, we can use the Syrian civil war as an
Mhm.
example. It started with a dozen or so disparate factions, largely of locals and various ideologies that ultimately coalesced around one group, either the Free Syrian Army, but then ultimately got taken over.
Right,
So
sure,
civil
but the
wars
thing
can
is
be
that, like-
fomented through.
Yes, but the problem is, again, you are no different from one of the Rapture people if you say that everything has the potential to cause a civil war. Eventually, you might be right. Congratulations. Now what? Like, literally, like, now what? It's not impressive to incorrectly guess over and over. That's the equivalent of like going horse betting and you bet on the wrong horse and you're like, no, this time for real, it's going to win. This time it's going to win. This time it's going to win. This time it's going to win. Yeah, eventually you might be right. But like, what are you batting? Like 0-500 at this point? Like, it's not impressive the second you get the 1. Like, hello?
Small factions that bubble up.
certainly, but I think that you are vastly overestimating the kind of militant capacity of the American left. Like, we truly do not have like a far left in the US that would be willing to take up arms. It is so small. Furthermore, I do think that technology-wise, it's not, it's not an even battle anymore. Like, the military, the US military, which is largely conservative and currently, Trump is in charge of them, the technology that they have to track, surveil, to remotely kill people would be absurd. I mean, I guess we could do some sort of guerrilla warfare, but this is American territory. It wouldn't go down like Vietnam, Like, we know where we are, we know where we're going.
This is a fantastic point, by the way, and this gets into what's known as the generations of warfare.
Okay.
So the earliest generation of warfare, obviously, is a guy punching a guy. As we got into, the 1700s, well, maybe even.
Tim Pool is like such a good example of like a stupid person's idea of a smart person. Well, if you look at the earliest version of war, it was like a guy like punching another guy. That's not war. That's just a fight. What? that's just a fist fight. Hello? What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? What's so insane too? You just look up like the definition, like the first definition, the first Wikipedia article. War is armed conflict between the armed forces of states or between governmental forces and armed groups that are organized under a certain command structure and have the capacity to sustain military operations or between such organized groups. Warfare isn't when two guys fight about something. It's specifically when organized groups of people fight. It doesn't have to be between two states. I mean, it can be between two different armed factions, but it's not just like when one guy fights another guy. That's a classic. That's classic war right there. Like, that's just a fight, dude.
Before then, you get field battles and drums and trumpets, and they refer to this largely as like third generation. Fourth generation is what they refer to as insurgency, terror, guerrilla warfare tactics, which we saw famously people bring up during the American Revolution. Many people refer to the period we're now in as fifth generational warfare. And the question is, what is the purpose of conflict? And it's to typically, not always, but to gain control of resources or a political group. Usually it's to gain control of something. And it could be for ideological reasons or economic reasons. What we're witnessing now, what I would say maybe we're not going to have what's called a hot civil war but remain cold, is the use of information technology for the purpose of controlling populations, like you've described. Right. So in the broader picture, I would argue that what we are seeing now with TikTok and Instagram may actually stop kinetic conflict, which would be people shooting each other.
Yes.
And we may actually just end up with
Like, it really is the dumbest person's idea of a smart person. When he says shit like, it may end kinetic conflict, does it not give the exact same energy as Mac from Always Sunny saying, oh, don't worry, I gave him an ocular pat down? Let me pull this up.
Yeah, right, but those are the ones you gotta watch out for. Those are the most dangerous hitchhikers, the ones that lure you into thinking they're sane by acting like normal people. They act like they're normal and then they carve you up.
No way it wasn't gonna happen. I had my eyes on them the whole time. See, I've always got an A, B, and a C strike plan to get us out of any potentially life-threatening situation.
Yeah, he probably just carved up his mother and father and he's running away on the road.
That's right. Could be, Frank. All I'm saying is that I'm ready for any situation. And that's why you're all safe as long as I'm around. Yeah, I did an ocular pat down and I cleared him.
Say what?
I'm sorry? I'm saying that I did an ocular assessment of the situation, garnered that he was not a security risk, and I cleared him for passage.
Ocular pat down? What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about breaking down the security situation, clearing an individual, and making it safe for passage.
Oh, how exactly do you view yourself within the context of our group?
The sheriff of Patties.
Attention! That's how I feel watching Tim Pool. People are beginning to believe that the beginning of TikTok and Instagram will end all kinetic conflict. It's like, what the fuck? Who the fuck do you think you are, dude? Stop!
In the broader picture, I would argue that what we are seeing now with TikTok and Instagram may actually stop kinetic conflict. Which
Tell me I'm wrong. Like, tell me I'm incorrect. Tell me.
Which would be people shooting each other.
Yes.
And we may actually just end up with people being brainwashed and, you know, waving Israeli flags or something.
Well, I mean, we're already kind of there. I mean, like, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk are, you know, the two most powerful tech dudes, and even Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos to some degree. They're in Trump's pocket, or maybe Trump is in theirs. And there's just, you know, online, there really isn't a way for the left to meaningfully take control, not in a real sense. I think that, yes, the country will continue to get polarized, but will we have a civil war? No.
Pause here. Thank you. You've been voted out by the majority.
No. How could they vote her out? I was enjoying listening to her speak. Tim Pool's the epitome of a Wikipedia idiot. Reads like half of a Wikipedia article, but they don't understand any of it. Well, how many times has Tim Pool pulled up like an article that he didn't read? Like, not misreading the article, like straight up, he didn't even read the article at all. I understand once, I understand twice, I understand 3 times. Sure, but in like, it's like, it feels like an everyday occurrence. It's so...
All right, if you'd like to be the next debater, please head to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Guys, I have to pee really bad.
Hello. When January 6th happened, I actually thought we were headed towards a civil war then. I thought, oh my God, this is really bad.
It's terrifying.
And so much so that...
And I do agree that that was the closest I think that we got to like potentially believing in a civil war occurring, January 6th. Because those would be the people that would pull out their guns and just start shooting random people.
What ended up happening is that gun sales increased predominantly on the left because they were so afraid of what was going to happen. And we had been seeing documentaries and you know, news networks talking about the far right extremists who were already training with like AR-15s and things like that that were attempting to potentially start a coup.
Sorry guys, I really have to pee. I can't. I don't know why I'm holding it in. I'll be right back.
And so if we were talking back then, I would actually agree with you. The reason I disagree with you now is because we don't have a faction of the left that is nearly as violently motivated as the right is. So if we were to talk about a hypothetical civil war, then I would argue the far right would start it, specifically because of what you just said. You said that you would like to re-elect Trump, that you would vote for him for a third time. But you didn't say Vance. You said Trump, right?
Well, I corrected it.
And
you know
I think that goes down to the ideology of again, your argument around the Constitution, there is a faction of MAGA that wants him to run again and
Agreed, yeah.
skirt the Constitution
Yep.
so that MAGA can stay in power. I think in a hypothetical, that would lead towards a civil war.
I agree.
And so, okay, but people like yourself who continue to spew this type of rhetoric of, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? I think you want it to happen.
I think you're exaggerating the things that I've said about it. I mean, I think that last conversation was absolutely fantastic.
I think everything that you talked about is online, and people
So
can
I
just
think
look it up.
I've interviewed national security experts to ask them if they think this is going to happen. When you have one gentleman saying yes, and it's my fault, he doesn't have to like me. You don't have to like my opinions or what I do. But I think when you also say that when MAGA wants to elect Trump for a third time, you are correct, they do. And I also agree this is going to create an untenable situation for the country that I don't believe progressives or Democrats will accept. I don't see Trump and his base backing down, and I don't see the left, liberals, Democrats, or otherwise agreeing to back down. It's a simple question. Would anyone in this room sit back as Trump seized a third term in power? I don't think they would do it.
Yeah.
So you can have a fascist take over a revolution, or you can have a civil war if this is the case, and I hope to God it's not. Because you know what I'd prefer? I prefer to watch the soccer match and have some chicken wings. I don't want to deal with conflict crisis. I don't like having to live in I have multiple bodyguards with me today. I have to have people standing outside my house because I got
Are you
shot at.
scared of the progressives in here?
I'm not scared of anybody in here. Actually, I think you guys have been absolutely lovely. But there are lunatics. In December of last year, someone drove by my property and opened fire on our buildings. And
You're going to blame that on the left too?
it was a left-aligned individual who did it, but I mean, I'm not blaming you guys for doing it. And I certainly would acknowledge that there are people on the right who engage in violence all the same. What I'm saying is I don't want you to be in fear of your life. I don't want to be in fear in my life. I prefer this. You guys have been absolutely awesome. We disagree. I mean, that guy really hates me, but I don't want him hurt or anything like that. I don't want to live in a country where people are attacking each other without trying to understand each other.
Right, but the rhetoric that you're spewing is leading towards that. You want Trump again, which means the rhetoric that you're spewing online,
Trump
the
won in
political
2024.
commentary that you're spewing online
I don't
is
want-
teasing
I
it.
don't
It's
want
like,
Donald
it's
Trump-
like, will they, won't they, will they, won't they?
I don't want Donald Trump for a
Guys,
third term.
Go
But
and have a civil war.
I would prefer, J.D. Vance, maybe Rubio, but
That's still MAGA.
And indeed, and understand that Trump won the plurality of the vote in 2024, and he has a large support base, despite his polls being very low. He does. And we'll see what happens with the Republican Party in 26 and 28. But you can't just wish away the existence of another political faction with a polarized worldview compared to yours. I do not see a reality where Republicans accept the worldview of the progressives who are gaining ground in multiple places, namely in New York. And I don't see the progressives accepting the Trump worldview as you've described it.
And the reason that we're not going to accept it is because people like you.
And the reason we won't accept it is people like you.
Doesn't even make any sense. How many times is Tim Bull just gonna say no you in situations where it doesn't even make any fucking sense? I don't understand. I don't get it. Does he think it's effective?
Kissing Denims' feet.
This debate topic so much. Well, the people who are surrounded get to pick the debate topics. So of course he's gonna pick these shit ass debate topics. Contra, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Behind, thank you so much for the 20 gift subs. Yeah, I'm thinking it's a golden Kappa train. Yeah, this is huge. This is gonna be big for all of us here. Oh, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs.
If you'd like to be the next debater, please head to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jeremiah. Okay, so we know that the USA is very resilient, right? We've weathered so much. So we've stayed intact, and we weathered 1968 riots, McCarthyism, what else? Civil rights era.
Civil War.
So, but the thing is, we've stayed intact, right? So my thing is that we
Session, thank you for the gifts of Eastern Mindset. Thank you for the 10 gift subs. What the hell? Thank you.
can have polarizing views, right? But nothing that we're dealing with right now is as intense as anything that I've just mentioned, and none of those things led to a civil war. So unless the right plans to enslave the left, how are we going to have a civil war?
So one example that I often say, which I don't know, that a lot of this is probabilistic. I like to use Colorado as an example. Okay. Colorado allows for abortion up to the point of birth at the woman's discretion, but Oklahoma bans it, and they share a border. Okay. So you have a potential for conflict in that regard because...
Does he think that everyone's going to pick up arms to defend the border between Oklahoma and Colorado.
Denims' feet.
Let me let him make his point. I'm sure it'll make a lot of sense, right, guys? Right? Right? Snooze, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Dirty, thank you so much for the 8 months. Catboy Meow, thank you so much for the, or Mao, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Explain, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Thanks, guys. So many of us are going to have golden Kappas, guys. It's going to be
If
huge.
a woman is with a man and she's 7 or 8 months pregnant and she decides to get an abortion in Colorado where it's legal, the state will try to stop her. We have already had an instance where, I'm not sure, it was a southern state, it might have been Mississippi or Alabama, where they accused, they charged, I believe they attempted to charge a woman with conspiracy to commit abortion by fleeing the state. And so the issue that arises is at the ground level when a man says, you are taking my child to be murdered, and the woman says, no, it's a fetus, I'm getting an abortion, and this results in people on the ground traveling between jurisdictions with different laws, which creates a...
Does he think that people traveling across state lines to do things that are legal in one state but not legal in the other state is going to cause everyone to pick up ammunitions, to pick up arms? What the fuck fantasy novel is he writing? I don't understand. Huh? What?
Problem for Colorado and a problem for Oklahoma, which probably don't want to fight.
So, but what I'm saying is that if you're saying the nation would fight, we don't even see internal fights within the states, like separate states. I would think that we would see that first before we would see the nation fight.
Well, we saw in Texas when the Biden administration deployed...
Was that his example? That was his dope-ass example? Also, hi, Mick. Hi. Guys, can we get a shout-out for Mick? Hold up. I can do this. Yeah, I'm something of a mod. Blocky, thank you so much for the 10 gift subs, by the way. Was that his fucking shit-ass example? People are gonna pick up arms because some women drive across state lines to get abortions? What the fuck is he talking about? Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Federal police and the Texas National Guard came and they were actually in dispute over the concertina wire on the border because Texas doesn't have the constitutional authority to deport. They sent out their state National Guard in defiance
and we
of the
saw
federal
that
government.
overreach here in California when Trump did that overreaching
sending the
Newsom.
Marines.
But guess what? But the thing is, military
fields.
hasn't defected.
The claim is that we are tracking towards one, and I think that's an academic claim.
Okay, so
but it's also possible we have a rebel.
It's an academic claim. It's amazing. By that same metric, horoscopes are an academic claim. Honestly, I would argue horoscopes are more of an academic claim than saying a civil war is bound to happen any day now. You can't just say this is an academic claim before you say something and pretend like it is. I can't just say, no, good things will happen to you if you sub to this channel. That's an academic claim right there. That right there is an academic claim. You can't. That doesn't magically make it academic. Cute Karma, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Passia, thank you for the 17 months. Asphalt, Liver. David, thank you guys so much for the subs. Flocky, thank you for the 10. Snooze, thank you for the 5. Thanks, guys. Tracking towards is intentionally vague and can't really be objectively disproven. He thinks he's doing some utopia, some clever, I was thinking of a different sentence at the same time because ADHD brain, some clever trick, but he's really just being annoying. Well, because it allows him that if the United States ever was to enter some utopian state, you know, the United States just gets absorbed by China and we can have, you know, healthcare and housing and we can get as close as possible to a utopia. He's like, he can always just claim, well, I said we were tracking towards, and then we stopped tracking towards one, and we reversed course. So, it's just so pathetic. It's just like, I think this is really indicative of the type of person that Tim Pool is. He picked these like really smarmy, shitty, Weasley prompts that he can just claim that, you know, that's just his intuition based on all of the research he's done about political topics. But none of them are actually like based in some reality. They're not like hard topics that like clear-cut topics that can be debated with any type of resolution. I have to know what the next one is. The final claim is the Constitution effectively does not exist anymore. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, all of these claims are just, they're not even an attempt to try and base anything in reality because he knows his predictive abilities are so shit. He's the 49 state landslide guy. He's the my sources tell me Charlie Kirk is stable, please God guy. Like he's almost at Hutch's level where he's so wrong so fucking often that he knows better than to commit to any position because he knows he's more likely to be wrong than he is to be anything else. Like, it's actually so fucking pathetic that instead of making the prompt, I believe the Constitution will be destroyed in the next, like, we will rewrite the Constitution in its entirety in our lifetime, and pointing at a bunch of things as to why he thinks that. It's like these vague prompts that can mean as much as he wants or as little as he wants. And then at the end, when he gives up, he can just be like, well, we agree. We actually agree. So I don't even understand. Like, I actually agree with you, even though you're on the opposing side.
Originalists, some might say they're textualists. It doesn't even matter if they claim those things because their view of the Constitution has changed. As of today, there's actually two distinct large body politics, if that's the way you say it, and they do not agree on the interpretation of the Constitution. Thus, we are seeing claims the Supreme Court is no longer legitimate. We've seen that for some time now. We see Republicans.
Indeed.
Angry with Amy Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh over their rulings, and we are now hearing arguments that politicians should just ignore the Constitution outright, or the Supreme Court, I'm sorry, in this capacity, even though this would violate the Constitution.
But that wouldn't necessarily work because if the founding fathers were creating the document, they knew that this was going to continuously progress because they believed in the modernization of the United States that was going to continuously go forward. That's why you had Lincoln making the Reconstruction era amendments and even the progressive era amendments like the 16th Amendment with the income tax, the 17th Amendment.
We're not arguing amendments.
But what I'm saying is that the Constitution has always been able to progress and change. If you're looking for the issues when it comes to the Supreme Court and what everybody else believes, that happens on the left and on the right. Everyone has the disagreements when it comes to the Supreme Court. But the problem is when you look at the Trump administration, what they're currently doing right now is making executive orders saying that they're going to ask questions about the 14th Amendment, when the reality is that he wanted to change the first section of the 14th Amendment to his own.
Is anyone stopping him?
The Supreme Court did, actually. Not only did the Supreme Court stop them, initially, that's what he was promised, he was hoping did not happen. That's why he was sitting in April with the Supreme Court, trying to be basically the muscle of the executive in the judicial.
So Trump hasn't stopped. In fact, they're preparing another executive order under the same line that was just rejected, but targeting territories.
But then you would agree with that the fault then would be coming from the political right then in this case, because when
it's not a question of fault, it's a question of we are not seeing. But my point largely is there is a left and there's a right in this country that are so distinct. Neither views the Constitution as being upheld.
But that's not necessarily true. When you look
but
at
it is true.
Well, I'll explain to you as the reason as to why it's not true.
You think Trump's upholding the Constitution?
I don't think he's upholding the Constitution, but I know for a fact that the left has been, or the Democrats have been actually holding up the Constitution a lot more. If you look at, for example, with Bush,
do you think Republicans believe the Democrats are upholding the Constitution?
Do I think that the Republicans are holding it?
Do Republicans in this country believe Democrats are holding true?
Wait, I'm sorry. Who gives a fuck about what the Republicans believe? The Republicans are lying sacks of shit who will do everything that they can to go to war one more time.
Of course they don't, but that's because
that's the point. There is no unified body politic that operates under the U.S. Constitution.
That's specifically opinion-based.
Their opinion is not relevant for whether or not the Constitution effectively exists anymore. Believing other people uphold the Constitution, your belief can be wrong, so who gives a fuck what they think? Hello? The equivalent would be like the prompt of like, ice cream effectively does not exist anymore. And then being like, well, do Republicans think that ice cream doesn't exist anymore? Well, Republicans think there is no more ice cream. But the ice cream is totally gone. It's like, but I can go to the store right now and buy it. Why do I give a fuck what those people think? They're wrong. Like, hello? Their opinion is not relevant. It's whether or not it is factually true, whether or not the Constitution is repeatedly, frequently being violated. Hello?
When you look at, correct. Well, hold on. When you look at different members and different presidential terms, you look at Trump, he's trying to take it down with the 14th Amendment through executive orders. The AUMF under Bush, he took away the ability for the Congress to actually declare war with that simple document because of September 11th. I haven't seen Obama do that. I haven't seen Biden try and do that whatsoever, especially when it comes to the past 20 years. The reason as to why we're in those situations is because of these two presidents. Now, what my argument is that while they may say, individuals may say this, what we're seeing is actual executive powers, actual legislative powers.
This is not the argument.
Actual judicial powers on the right that are specifically.
I mean, the prompt is just so. I'm sorry. I know I've said it like 4 times, but the prompt is just so fucking stupid because it's intentionally vague and subjective. So he gets to just be a smarmy little piece of shit for as long as he wants, right? Like, I agree, green shirt. Green shirt is always right, okay? Are there politicians that are frequently attempting to violate the Constitution and break as many rules as possible? Yes. Are there systems in place that theoretically still exist? Yes. Are there people that are attempting to use those powers to uphold the Constitution? Yes. What exactly are you defining as it doesn't exist anymore? Like, that people ignore it, that they don't care about it? I mean, okay. I mean, yeah, I would agree that there are a lot of politicians, basically exclusively Republican politicians, that don't care. Yeah, I saw that Mason went on Majority Report. I didn't watch it yet, though. Mentioned how the prompts were so bad, it was hard to debate. I mean, they're intentionally bad. These are like the worst prompts I've ever seen in my life. Like, I just can't believe this. Like, I just don't understand. Like, the prompt should be, I think Sam Cedar's prompts were really good. I think one of his prompts, no. It was, well, Sam Cedar's prompts are also good. But Mehdi Hassan, one of his prompts was, the only people that support or should support Trump's policies are white nationalists, Christian evangelicals, or evangelists, or billionaires and mega millionaires, multimillionaires. And there were so many people that went up and were like, yeah, I am a white nationalist and I like Trump's policies. And it's like, look up at prompt. Then why are you sitting there? I already said you would like Trump. I'm asking for someone to come up here and explain to me a policy of Trump's that actually helps anyone other than those groups disproportionately so. But you could theoretically fight that prompt and say, well, he had like the no tax on tips. And then you would argue that the no tax on tips was like, the opposition would argue that that was tied to a bunch of other policies meant to enrich the already richest people on the planet, et cetera, or at least in this country, but also on this planet. The world or this planet. So all of that was just to say, at least the other guests, even Dave Rubin, credit to Dave Rubin, who did not prepare at all. Credit to Dave Rubin, at least his prompts that he brought were arguable. You could argue against them. None of these prompts are arguable. All of these prompts are like, well, that's just how I feel. Well, that's just how I feel. It's like, that's not a good prompt. Hello? I'm curious what a guest would claim.
Around a claim is that in 2026, all moderates are cowards.
All right, well, no.
Sure. Yeah.
I certainly don't think I am. I think that one of the biggest problems that we have in this country is media polarization.
Totally.
There are family members of mine that only watch MS Now, and there are family members of mine that only watch Fox News, and I watch both. And so then I see, you know, when I turn on MS Now, the only thing they're talking about is going to be in.
Guess what? I watch both. I am the baseline, at least. I meet the baseline of intelligence to be able to be like, wow, Fox News is filled with nothing but propaganda that is actively only trying to make your life worse. And then CNN is like a step above that. And then MS Now is a slight step above that. You can still discern whether they're bad or not. Watching both is not. Also, sorry, I'll just press
one direction. I turn to Fox News. The only thing I'm talking about is the other direction. And this makes people really on edge and then say, I need to be on one side. It crafts a moral worldview. While I certainly understand your point, actually, let me do this. Are you saying take a side, stand up for something?
More or less. I'm saying that over the last, we'll say, 26 years, right, we have been, well, barring 2016. So from 2000 to 2016, we were kind of controlled by a centrist government. And I feel like that, even though Barack Obama was a progressive for his time, we view him now as pretty centrist, right?
Yeah.
We're in a room full of progressives.
I would agree, just even back then as well.
Right. That opened the door for someone like Donald Trump to come in and actively erode our Constitution and the very foundation that our country is supposed to be.
Well, is your argument that everyone should be against Donald Trump then?
No.
So then what's your gripe with moderates?
Centrism and moderation in 2026, in the age of APAC money, in the age
When do they start kissing is crazy. What the fuck chat have I created?
of Larry Ellison, Barry Weiss, all of these talking heads, all of these political entities, Peter Thiel, Mark Zuckerberg, all this technocracy that we are not far from, right? Why?
I mean, I think I understand the point that he's trying to make, but like, I think what he's trying to say is moderates have literally brought us to the era of Trumpism. Continuing to be a moderate is effectively completely incorrect. It is not feasible to remain a moderate. At least Republicans are, quote, pretending like they want to make a change. And in some ways, Project 2025 is a change. It's just a change for the worse. And hyper-progressive candidates are hyper-progressive. the max left are also trying to make a change, I would argue, in the direction of improving people's lives.
Do you get to sit in the middle and argue both sides while raking in dollars from these exact entities?
Well, what's your proposal? I guess I'm trying to understand. My view of what it means to be moderate is that sometimes the right is correct and sometimes the left is correct.
Sure.
And I think my view is, I come from, interestingly, the area of Chicago where I grew up has turned red. It's firefighters, it's cops, it's working class Joes.
Why is that?
That it turned red?
Yeah.
I think for a lot of these people, they feel that the Democratic establishment has abandoned them on a few issues. Mm-hmm. The mass migration that we saw, or the large migration, call it whatever you want.
Wasn't there a huge, like you're saying, wasn't there a huge migration of blue to red and red to blue, right? You made that claim.
You mean like
earlier.
California to Texas?
Sure.
and
New York
Inner
to
city
Florida,
Chicago to outer city Chicago, suburbs, things like that.
Yeah, the people in my neighborhood didn't really move. They don't have the money to do so.
Sure.
So there is a large migration. It doesn't mean every neighborhood migrated, but particularly for where I grew up, it's interesting that the politics of the neighborhood kind of tracked alongside myself. Like in 2016, I was for Bernie. The area where I grew up, it was like largely blue. I didn't vote for anybody. In 2020, I said.
Translation: my positions are not set in stone because I am a fence-sitting coward.
I guess I'm going to vote for Trump. Those are things I don't like about him, but here's what I agree with and why I don't like
Why
Joe
did
Biden.
you vote for him?
Well, unfortunately, I think one of the big issues with Afghanistan, and I'm not going to say Trump's done well with Iran, particularly.
That's amazing. I have no words. I have literally no words. Like, okay, that's enough. That's enough. I don't understand the point of this guest prompt. Just like to give him a soapbox to talk about why all his shitty positions are so fucking shitty. I voted for Trump because of Afghanistan. Like, suck my dick, dude. Come on, man. I didn't know you were alive. No, it's, whatever, dude. It really is the dumbest people you know. I just can't. I can't. All right, that's enough brain damage, I think, for one day. I think I've put enough people in a coma. I think I've created enough vegetables for one day, which means we'll pick this back up on Shit Saturday. That's right. I will be back again tomorrow for another great stream. I can tell I'm starting to feel better and I'm not really sick anymore, because when I'm sick and I stream, by the end of the stream, I feel like I'm like dead. Like I feel like, when they like dry fruit and then the fruit gets like really small and it shrinks and it's like, that's how I feel when I stream and I'm sick. By the end of it, I'm like, I need rest, please. And I don't feel that way. So that has to mean that I'm getting better, which is dope. So I'll be back again tomorrow for a Saturday stream. Please have a great rest of your day, everybody. Stay hydrated. Tell your homies you love them. And I will see all of you guys in the next one. Bye.